It is, and Churchy's absolutely right. So there is permutations here where Sussex could lose, but they could still go through. I just wonder, we'll have half an eye on the matches around the game at Canterbury tonight, with Kent playing Essex, as Churchy says, but also the game down in Cardiff, where Glamorgan will be playing Middlesex. Middlesex out of the competition. Glamorgan difficult to beat at home, so I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Glamorgan don't win down in Cardiff tonight.
The other thing is, if this thunderstorm doesn't hit here but could hit elsewhere, Adrian Harms, that could come into play as well.
All sorts of permutations.
Yes.
We know the Sussex side that Ollie Robinson is out now. That's a blow. Whatever way you want to look at it, Ollie Robinson is a wicket taker. I think Brad Curry's a very good replacement for him. Nonetheless, that is just the one side. So Sussex line up with George Thomas, Daniel Hughes, Tom Clark, James Coles, who batted beautifully last night. Tom Alsop, who also played well. They both made half centuries and put on 100. That really was the basis for Sussex winning the game. John Simpson, Danny Lamb, who hit the winning runs, although he was dropped. It was an amazing game. He was dropped at long off by Darcy Short, and that would have probably won the game for Gloucestershire. But Danny Lamb at 7, Nathan McAndrew at 8, Tamal Mills, Henry Crocombe, and and Brad Curry coming in for Ollie Robinson. So just the one change for Sussex. All the talk's been about Surrey. How will they treat this game? What's the Surrey side, Churchy?
One change for Surrey, and I get it. They brought in Yusuf Majid, the left-arm spinner, who played the opening game at Taunton. Now, I think they've looked at the pitch as well. And from what Mr. Bill said, use pitch, tacky, get your spinner in, because Adam Zampa, just to let everybody know, was only ever going to play the 4 games, but he is available for the quarter-final and for finals day as well. But he's headed off to the West Indies. Mitch Santner's back with New Zealand, of course. So that's just the one change for Surrey. So Surrey will line up with Ryan Patel, Will Jacks, Jason Roy, Sam Curran, Dan Lawrence, who will keep the gloves as well. He's been wicket-keeping, D. Lawrence, just to explain to everybody, Sussex listeners. Laurie Evans was doing it, and then Laurie injured his finger in the middle of a game against Glamorgan, so Dan Lawrence had to take the gloves and did very well, and then scored an amazing 100. But then Ben Folkes came back because he's been having a baby, so congratulations to him, and he's had his baby now, so he came back to keep wicket in the game previously to that, and then he injured his back. Unfortunately, he had a back spasm, so D. Lawrence had to run off again and find somebody's kit. But then he did it against Middlesex for the whole game and did a very good job. So he keeps the gloves, does Dan Lawrence, so he'll keep wicket. Then Tom Curran, Jamie Overton, Chris Jordan, Jordan Clark, Reece Topley, and then Yusuf Majid. So as I say, that's a pretty good side that Surrey are putting out tonight. Strong batting lineup, of course. They bat all the way down, which we saw again at Lord's a couple of evenings ago, and that bowling attack's got variety and experience. And just to say, Chris Jordan has been outstanding for Surrey this season. Of course, everybody at Sussex knows Mr. Jordan very, very well, but he has been at his very best, and he's found a bit of zip again, and he's bowled beautifully in the competition so far. So yes, Surrey are taking this very seriously tonight, and as I said, they'd like to finish top of the group. And I think actually, interestingly, they finished top of the group last year, of course, but then blew up on finals day. I think what you've seen from them this year is they've played far more as a team rather than a bunch of talented individuals, and I think they've been in positions where possibly last year they wouldn't have won those games, but they managed to find a way to win them this year. So yeah, they're a good outfit. They're a very, very good outfit this season. So it'll be a test for Sussex tonight, without a shadow of a doubt.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to live cricket here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey. I'm Adrian Harms, alongside me Mark Church. We're at Hove for the final group stages of the T20 Blast. For those of you who don't necessarily follow the competition, Surrey have already qualified for the quarter-finals. They're also guaranteed a home quarter-final, which we'll talk about in a couple of moments' time, because they will finish in the top 2 in the group. Basically, there are 2 groups of 9, a South group and a North group. The top 4 sides qualify for the quarter-finals. As I say, Surrey have already qualified, but as Mark was saying, they'll want to win the group and then you play the side who are 4th placed in the Northern Group. So theoretically, you get an easier quarter-final. Whatever happens tonight, if Sussex win, they will have to travel for their quarter-final, and the way it looks at the moment is if they were to go through, they would probably travel to Old Trafford to play Lancashire. But it's all up in the melting pot. There's so many if, buts and maybes. Let's talk about Sussex just for a moment, Churchy, because last night, particularly down at Cheltenham, you know, a young player who's making quite a name for himself, and I know you follow the game assiduously and keep an eye on what's going on. James Coles, who's been making runs in the county championship. He's got hundreds in his last 2 games, made 62 last night. He bowls as well. He's a young player who I think is catching people's attention at the moment.
Absolutely, and he's doing the right thing. But the only way you catch attention is by scoring runs. It's interesting, isn't it? I tend to look with the T20. It's great, and it's I love the T20. But actually, I keep an eye on what's happening in Championship cricket far more than I do in the T20. And as you say, he's been making runs in the Championship. I think Paul Farbrace has done a brilliant job here. It reminds. I said this to you when we were doing the game here in the Championship. It really reminds me of what Surrey did with Paul Farbrace, in that he's playing the youngsters, and they got up last year with John Simpson in charge, which was a masterstroke of a signing, getting John Simpson in. But the thing is, they've come up and they've all played a lot of their cricket together. Now you add in a Nathan McAndrew into that, who's obviously a very experienced pro, and Sussex are holding their own very nicely in the Championship this season. Then in the T20, they're again. You know, there are no superstar names. It's not along the lines of, well, even with Surrey, you know, Mitch Santner, Adam Zampa. There's none of that. But it's a group of players that have played a lot of their T20 cricket together. He's bedding in the youngsters. Then you add in a Daniel Hughes. You've got Tamal, of course, who knows exactly what he's up to. So yeah, absolutely. And I think it's what Sussex are doing and what Paul Farbrace is doing. They're doing it the right way. They're doing it the right way.
And what's interesting about that, Church, is it needs patience from everybody. It needs patience from supporters. It needs patience from members as well.
I always remember when Graham Ford came in and he said, listen, we've got 2 choices here. We keep doing what we're doing. Okay, and we spend a lot of money and we go out and buy superstars and they arrive for 2-3 months and then they're done. Or we say it's going to hurt and it will hurt for a season, but we play all the youngsters that have come through the academy and then we add in 1 or 2. And that's exactly what he did. And then when Surrey did come up and they were ready to go in Division 1, then they added in a Sangakkara as well, which always helps. But it always makes me smile to myself when sort of people say to me, sorry, you know, they just go out and buy players.
Yes.
And actually, hang on, just have a look at the 11 that goes out at Scarborough next week for Surrey. And the bulk of that side have come through the academy or been at the club a long, long time. And that's why they've won 3 championships on the spin, is because that core group, the sort of so-called spine of the side, as I say, they've either come through the academy and played all their cricket together, or Jordan Clark, Ben Folks have been at the club now, 5 years? So yeah, and then you add in, but everybody does it, you add in 1 or 2 overseas, and there you've got a side that know exactly what they're up to.
And it says to me, Churchy, as well with Surrey, because you do hear it around the county circuit, people say, yeah, well, it's Surrey, they've got pot loads of money, etc., etc. But you do look at the side and you see these young players who've come through the ranks, and there must be a very good system at Surrey that's set up to pick up these youngsters.
Their pathway system, their academy system is exceptional, it really is. And the other thing that Surrey do is they provide players for England. So you know, that's the other thing there. So your Popes, your Atkinsons, your Smiths, they all came through the academy and now they're away playing for England. So you know, that's what in many ways Championship cricket is there for. But in terms of the T20, you know, I think Paul Farbrace, with what he's doing here in all forms of the game, he's getting it spot on. And as I say, if Sussex play to their best tonight, then they've got every chance of getting themselves through to the quarterfinals.
Well, we shall see how things unfold here at Hove. The ground is slowly filling up. I was talking to people at the ground earlier, and there's going to be 5,500 people, as I say, shoehorned inside the ground. But at the moment, the ground is probably less than a quarter full. I think there probably is going to be a big queue of people suddenly coming through the turnstiles at the last minute. They all want to beer, they all want to get some food, they all want to use the loo as well. But I'm sure people are busily making their way in. 5,500 will be the attendance tonight. It's what T20 cricket is all about. It's Friday nights, it's under the lights, it's the end of the working week. Well, a very good evening and welcome to our listeners as well on Sports Extra 3. I'm Adrian Harms, alongside me Mark Church. We're at Hove this evening for the final match in the South Group, or one of the final matches in the South Group of the T20 Blast. It's Sussex against Surrey, a packed out Hove, 5,500 tickets sold. They'll be shoehorned into this lovely cricket ground down on the south coast. All sorts of permutations tonight, but what we do know is that if Sussex win, they will qualify for the quarter-finals. If they don't, they could still qualify, but if Kent win their game at Canterbury against Essex, or Glamorgan win their game at Cardiff against Middlesex, either of those could go through. It's very tight, it's very tense. A lot of talk about the two teams, which I'll run through briefly with you. The big team news for Sussex: no Ollie Robinson. He's been nursing a knee injury, didn't look fit at Bristol last night, although he got through his overs. He isn't playing tonight. He's replaced by the Scottish international seamer Brad Curry. A lot of talk about Surrey. How motivated will they be? What team will they put out? Churchy, what can you tell us?
Well, they put out a very, very good team, and they've made one change from the side that beat Middlesex at Lords a couple of nights ago. They've looked at the pitch. They're going to play Yusuf Majid, the left arm spinner, so Ollie Sykes is the one that misses out. So just the one change for Surrey. So yep, they're putting out a very strong side tonight, because their motivation is to finish top of the group, and then you, as we were saying a little bit earlier, you play the fourth place side in the North Group. From a Sussex point of view, it's looking like it could be a trip to either Old Trafford to play the Lancashire Lightning, or Northants, I suppose. It could be Northants, couldn't it? Who've had a very, very good tournament.
And Lancashire would want revenge, because they were soundly beaten last year down here in the quarter-finals when Jofra Archer was made available for the game. Whether Jofra would be available for later in the competition, well, that's a long way away. Sam Curran won the toss. Surrey have decided to bat first. He had no hesitation at all. Churchy, what do you think was the motivation behind Sam Curran deciding that's what Surrey were going to do?
I think they as we've said all throughout the competition, I think they bat their bowlers to defend any sort of total. I think they're still yet to. It might be a look at them actually putting it all together with the batting first. That might be the other. They haven't done that yet. So they've always got themselves to a total batting first, but they haven't really sort of fired where, I don't know, a Jacks goes on and makes a big 100 and they're sticking 230, 240 on the board. So they always get a total on there, but maybe tonight is a little look at, let's see if we can actually put a massive total on the board this evening, because they're not big boundaries here, are they? But then it was very interesting hearing what Tamar Mills said at the toss, that, you know, this pitch is used, the ground staff have kept it alive for a week for us. It'll be tacky, it'll be slow, and then they're hoping it speeds up under lights. That's the thing. They're hoping it gets a bit of pace into it under the lights. So that'll be fascinating. So if it is going to be slow and tacky, batting first might be quite hard work for some.
Well, here come the teams. Sussex led out by Tamal Mills. I spoke to Tamal at the toss a little while ago. I asked him how he was, how were the fingernails, because Sussex, if you missed it last night, one off the very last ball of the match. Danny Lamb hitting a boundary to win the game for Sussex. It meant that Gloucestershire, who are the holders, are knocked out of the competition. They go to Taunton tonight to play Somerset.
The Cider Derby.
So there's the Cider Derby. There's a derby here between Sussex and Surrey. So Gloucestershire are out. So it's all between Surrey have qualified, Somerset have qualified, Hampshire have qualified with an excellent run rate. It's between three teams in the Southern Group. The team who has it in their own hands are Sussex. If they win here tonight, barring something dramatic happening at Canterbury where Kent are playing Essex, even if Kent win, because Sussex have a much better run rate, Sussex would go through to the quarter-finals. So the teams are out. The ground is only about half full at the minute. I'd imagine there's a lot of people queuing to get into the ground, and it looks very much like it's going to be Brad Curry who's going to open the bowling for Sussex from the sea end of the ground. For those of you who don't know Hove, it means the ground slopes away from the sea, which is about, 500 yards behind us. And it slopes up to the Cromwell Road, which is the road that goes across the ground at the far end. You went down to the sea today?
I did. I went and had a little sit on the beach, then went and had a lime, and yes, I took off and then just jumped in my shoes. Of course I didn't go in. And then I went and sat and had a lime and soda and watched the world go by. First thing I've spotted here is Brad Curry's going to have John Simpson standing up to the stumps. So that might tell you a little bit about the pitch as well. That Simpson straight away up to the stumps to Brad Curry.
So here we go. The music stops, the cricket starts. Brad Curry into the side as a replacement for Ollie Robinson as they get us underway. Number 12 on the back of his dark blue shirt comes running into bowl to Will Jacks. He's in and bowls, and Jacks is forward and clips the ball to mid-on, where it's fielded by the tall Australian Nathan McAndrew, and that gets a round of applause from the crowd here at Hove.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of people still to get into the ground.
Huge amount. I would say the ground is less than half full at the moment, or maybe about half full. People coming into the ground, clamouring to get in their seats. As normally these games start at 7 o'clock. Maybe that's called a few people out, but it's a 6:30 start and we're underway. As in comes Curry over the wicket, bowls to Jacks, who clips onto the onside, who races away towards the boundary. That could well go for 4. McAndrew is in hot pursuit, but he's not going to get there, and that shows how quick the outfield is at Hove, particularly down the slope here at Hove. As fast as Nathan McAndrew runs, and he's a big tall Australian with long legs, and he couldn't overtake that ball. It was little more than a little flick from Will Jacks, and brings up the first boundary of the match.
Yeah, a little bit of shape there for Curry, the left armour, just back into Will Jacks, but it started on off stump, and he's just tucked it away off his middle stump through the leg side for 4. So changing the field, the slip comes out straight away, and they've got a mid-wicket just plugging that gap. We've now got some movement behind the bowler's arm, so someone's got to sit down.
Yes, the stewards really need to make sure when there's a big crowd here that
it might be the steward, I think.
It might be the steward. in comes Brad Curry, bowls, and Jacks is forward, plays into the offside. There is no run. The outfield here is a picture. It's like a billiard table. I'm slightly biased, covering Sussex all the time, but I think this is as good an outfield as there is in the country.
It's beautiful. You know how much I love this ground.
Magnificent.
Adrian Harms, I always adore coming here. But yeah, it looks perfect.
No excuses really. Last night at Cheltenham, no fault of Cheltenham, the outfield was parched and brown. This is beautifully lush green. As in comes Curry for the 4th ball of the match, into bowl to Will Jacks, and Jacks hammers that down the ground effortlessly, and it's going to go for 4 runs. 1 bounce for. Beautifully timed by Will Jacks, who's a wonderful player to watch, a player who's come through the Surrey ranks, and he just lofted that straight back down the ground, over long off. Nothing Tamal Mills could do about that. 8 without loss in the second over, super shot.
Well, you can see how experienced he is, the way he's played since he's come back for Surrey. This is 10th game, 412 runs now in the competition, but he takes his time now.
Curry over the wicket, bowls to Jackson. Jackson's forward, plays the ball down the track. Curry fields off his own bowling, and there is no run. For those of listeners who perhaps don't follow the game, at this stage in proceedings there's a 30-yard circle which is denoted by white discs. At this stage of proceedings, Sussex have to have 7 fielders inside that 30-yard circle, 8 if you include the wicket-keeper, and only 2 fielders allowed outside of that circle. So theoretically it's easier for the batting side to score runs. And those 2 fielders are at backward square leg and fielding on the cover boundary. As in comes Curry, the last ball of the opening over, in and bowls to Jacks, and Jacks plays that to backward point. They go through for a single. That's the end of the opening over from Brad Curry, and Surrey having won the toss here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey, as well as Sports Extra 3, are 9 without loss.
And that's what I like about Will Jacks, and this is his experience now playing international cricket, franchise cricket. He's played in the IPL. He's done nothing spectacular in that first over. He's been trying to launch balls out the ground into the sea, and he's taken 9 of it. So Surrey start at 9 and over. One lovely shot through the leg side, and then just a punch really straight over the top to a length ball for 4. So that's the experience. When he first started in T20, it was fireworks from ball 1, and it could come off, and it was spectacular. But his consistency now is the big thing. He's been absolutely terrific for Surrey. Now Nathan McAndrew it will be to come down the slope from the Cromwell Road end of the ground here at Hove. He's got one slip in there, that's Coles. That slip, McAndrew right arm over the wicket to Will Jacks on a length, whipped into the leg side by Jacks. He'll get a single, and that will bring the left-handed Ryan Patel on to strike for the first time this evening. 10 without loss in the second over. Surrey, after winning the toss and having a bat this evening. Ryan Patel has played the last 3 games for Surrey. Dom Sidley did the job at the top of the order for the opening 10 games, I suppose it would have been. And now I think they quite like having the left-right combination at the top of the order, Surrey. So Ryan Patel settles himself over his bat. Nathan McAndrew. It is a big slope here at Hove as well, as McAndrew comes around the wicket to Patel. That's flicked off his hip out towards deep backward square. Will just be a single, and that's the first run for Ryan Patel. He's off the mark, and Surrey move on to 11 without loss in the second over.
I was going to say that they won't take a second. Tom Clark has consistently been Sussex's best fielder in the competition. He's very quick across the ground and saved no end of runs last night down at on a difficult outfield at Cheltenham.
Can I also say, I do like the Sussex T20 shirts.
Do you?
Yes, I do. As in over the wicket comes McAndrew, and here goes Jacks down the pitch, driving to the edge of the circle, won't get a run. Fielding's pretty good there, I have to say, because it took a horrible bounce at Henry Crocombe, is it there?
Yes, it is. He did well to stop that.
He did very well, because it's a blue, isn't it, with yellow. But the yellow is, if you've ever driven on a motorway where they try and keep you your distance, it's those arrows, isn't it, that you see on the motorway. That's right down the middle of the shirt in yellow. I really like it. And Surrey in their traditional duck egg blue this evening, as in over the wicket once again comes McAndrew. That is smash by Will Jacks. He stepped away outside the leg stump, given himself the room, and then hammered it past Crocombe on the edge of the circle for 4. Yeah, he's way outside his leg stump there to give himself room, free up his hands, and then absolutely smash that for 4. Third boundary for Will Jacks. He's on to 14, and Surrey move on to 15 without loss.
Absolutely thumped that through the covers.
Did McAndrew there. It wasn't a bad ball. It's a good length on about off stump, but because he gave himself room, hammered it through the offside. He's outside that leg stump again. He's pushed this one to backward point. Crocombe gets round quickly to do the fielding, and there is no run. So the 2 fielders outside that 30-yard circle are a deep backward square and a sweeper on the cover boundary rope. But again, here at Hove, they're not the biggest boundaries. So it's pick your area, isn't it, really? They always talk about pockets now in cricket.
Yes.
Hitting the pocket, they always talk about. As McAndrew, right arm over the wicket, he comes outside that leg stump again, swinging into the leg side bottom edge, and it flies past John Simpson. And Will Jacks apologises to Nathan McAndrew there, and it flies down to the fine leg boundary rope for 4. So I was trying to put that one in the pavilion, away to our left hand side, but bottom edge away for 4, and 10 off the over from McAndrew. 2 gone, Surrey a 19 without loss.
A very good evening. You've just joined us here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey. You may be listening to us via Sports Extra 3, or you may be watching the Sussex live stream, wherever you are around the country, indeed around the world. Welcome to Hove on a lovely evening. The cloud has just started to roll in. There's some sort of high level cloud around, but the forecast is suggesting we won't get any rain until later on this evening. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
As in comes Brad Curry, left arm seamer, running in over the wicket and bowls, thumped down the ground by Patel, only as far as Tamal Mills, the Sussex skipper, on the edge of the 30-yard circle fields, and there is no run.
I like this John Simpson up to the stumps on this pitch for Curry, because Patel can't get down the pitch there. He can't knock him off his length. He's going to just have to, if he wants to, get that front foot moving and go over the top to mid-off and mid-on. So if he does come down the pitch, he's got to make sure he hits it.
Curry, again bowls, pulled away onto the leg side, and that's going to be 4 runs. Too short from Brad Curry. Patel said thank you very much and pulled it away over mid-wicket for 4 runs. Which I don't think he got all of that, to be honest.
No, but that's not why John Simpson's up to the stumps. That's not the length from Brad Curry, is it? So really for Ryan Patel, it's almost a free hit into the leg side. Now Brad Curry's being told don't run down the middle of the pitch as well. So I'm sure Surrey will be delighted if he does that, because it will make the batting a bit tougher for Sussex later in the evening.
So just to reiterate, this is a game that Sussex need to win if they're going to qualify for the quarterfinals of this year's T20 Plus. Surrey already there. Curry it, bowls to Patel. Hammers that down the ground. This is more runs, and that's going to run away for 4 more. He just hoisted that straight down the ground. Picks up another boundary, does Patel, and Surrey off to a good start here.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. So Curry there has hit a good length, but Ryan Patel has shoved his front foot outside the leg stump. He hasn't got all of that by any stretch of the imagination, but with mid-off and mid-on up, he knows with the short straight boundary, as long as he gets enough on it, what he can't do is walk down the pitch. So he's just shoved that front foot outside the leg stump and then thumped it, and now he's got a single down the ground because mid-on has had to go down to long on.
Oh, don't know what's going on. Something in our ears. In comes Curry, bowls, and Patel plays into the offside. Picks up a single, fielded by Tamal Mills, and it's 1 more to the total. 28 without loss. We seem to have a trail going.
We do hopefully for a car show in our headphones.
Hopefully they can't hear that on air. So Patel on 10. 28 without loss. Well, we'll carry on commentating because we...
Curry then, coming in, left arm over the wicket and looking to flick leg side is Jacks, hits the thigh guard, rolls away, and there is no run. John Simpson coming round from behind the stumps to pick up and does a little bit of gardening, and again Curry here with Simpson up to the stumps. He's keeping Jacks settling himself down over his bat. As in over the wicket comes Curry, and that'll be 6, I think. Yeah, it is. He just swept it off a length outside the leg stump as Jacks. He's got an awful lot of that, and that has flown straight into the stand for 6. So, yep, it's outside the leg stump, and he's treated that like a left-arm spinner, has Jacks, and just swung it away, swept it away, straight into the stand for 6. So this is now a really good start for Surrey, and anybody who thought Surrey wouldn't be taking this one very, very seriously, that's probably being put to bed with this start. 3 overs gone, 34 without loss, Surrey. And it's going to be Tamal Mills down there from the Cromwell Road end of the ground, and the left-handed Ryan Patel will be the man on strike, and Jacks 24 not out down at the non-strikers end as Tamal Mills comes in, starting the 4th over, down the slope, too short, pulled for 4 by Ryan Patel. So Tamal Mills starts with a very short delivery, and Ryan Patel's just swiveled on the back foot, and this is a problem now for Sussex. 4th over, and Surrey 38 without loss, without actually doing anything too spectacular so far.
It was a good start, isn't it? Too short there from Tamal Mills, and with the fine leg up inside the circle, really no chance of cutting that off whatsoever.
Yeah, just got that one wrong. Bit of a loosener from the captain. Left arm over the wicket he comes to Ryan Patel. Better length, turned into the leg side by Patel. Jacks had shot off thinking there was a single, but there wasn't one there, and he puts an apologetic hand up to Ryan Patel, who then puts an apologetic hand up to Jacks. Then they start talking to each other from 22 yards, but no damage done. I think even if the throw had hit, Jacks was home.
We're back online, so apologies if you lost our commentary on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Surrey, or Sport Extra 3. A gremlin in the system.
Yeah, it was a gremlin, and some of my best work as well. I'm very disappointed. Maybe we could go back and repeat what happened. As Tamal Mills comes in, left arm over the wicket to Ryan Patel, driven straight down the ground by Ryan Patel. It's a lovely shot. Again, he's just trying to hit a good length, Tamal Mills, and and that's driven straight down the ground for 4. All I would say at the moment is this pitch, it's not looking that slow. And 42 without loss now, Surrey, and Ryan Patel has moved on to 18, and that's a lovely shot, full face of the bat, straight down the ground, in the air past Tamal Mills, and that whistled off down to the boundary rope for 4. So a couple of boundaries off this over from Tamal Mills. Over the wicket he comes again to Patel. Patel's just working this one up to the left of mid-on. He'll take an easy single, strolls through for 1 more. Ryan Patel moves on to 19 from 9 deliveries. Will Jacks comes back onto strike, 24 off 13. And in the 4th, Surrey 43 without loss. So they're ticking along at about 11.5 and over.
Very good start from Surrey, and all the talk before the game was, Surrey have qualified, how will they play tonight? Have they got a carefree attitude? Is it a game that they're not going to be too worried about? But I think we've seen in the first 3 overs and 4 balls that Surrey they've come to win this game.
And I think they're setting themselves that challenge of what I was saying of a big total, big total batting first, as Mills will come around the wicket with a slower ball to Will Jacks, the right-hander. That's nicely bowled. Jacks is forward, turns this one into the leg side. Won't get a run.
And actually, in terms of the rest of the competition, you expect every game to be competitive right through to the end. And on that note, we're keeping an eye on what's going on at Canterbury tonight, where Essex are 50 without loss in the 5th over against Kent. Michael Pepper, who made a very good 89 last week at Chelmsford against Sussex, is already 26 not out, fine player after 16 balls. So Kent under the cosh against Essex in that game in the South Group.
Final ball of the 4th over. Around the wicket goes Tamal Mills, follows Will Jacks, who's gone outside his leg stump, but he's just flicked this straight down the ground for 4. I think Tamal Mills feels mid-on was a little too wide there, wanted his mid-on a bit straighter. But that's good batting from Will Jacks, because he followed him and he still managed to flick it straight down the ground for 4. So this pitch looks a good one to me. It really does. 47 without loss off the 4, Surrey. Will Jacks 28 and Ryan Patel on 19.
The other game we're keeping an eye on here on Sports Extra 3 and BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Surrey, is the game down at Cardiff, where Glamorgan are playing Middlesex, and into the 5th over, Glamorgan already 50 without loss. So if Sussex were to lose here and Kent were to lose to Essex, Glamorgan, if they win, would go through in 4th place.
Sneaky.
So we'll keep you right across what's happening in the South Group in terms of qualification, as well as an eye on some of those games in the Northern Group as well, which is very tight as well in terms of who various sides might play. But it's going to be Nathan McAndrew coming into bowl from the C end of the ground, coming into bowl to Patel, shorter. Patel pulls a short ball down. It's going to be 4 more. Ball races away down towards the dugouts in front of the pavilion, and it's 4 more, and the half century already up for Surrey, who are 51 without loss. And just looking at the way Sussex have started here, and no one would ever use it as an excuse, but down at Cheltenham last night, they didn't get back here till the early hours of this morning. Then you're playing again. This take nothing away from the Surrey batting, which has been terrific, but Sussex not quite on the money here this evening. Short ball from Nathan McAndrew, who's coming in again to bowl to Patel. He's in again and bowls. Better delivery, clipped away onto the onside. Brad Curry has to come round from mid-on to Fields, just a single.
Don't get me started on the schedule.
Yes, I mean,
but look, sorry I've had this, and it's the same for all sides.
Oh, it's absolutely right.
But really and truly, when you put the fixture list together, and you've got Sussex down at Cheltenham, and then you've got them tonight here at Hove, someone somewhere must have a thought about, well, they're not going to get back till the early hours of the morning. Are they going to be at their best tonight? Probably not. They're probably a bit knackered, bless them.
And do you see the best of the best cricketers?
No, you don't. And apparently this is meant to be the showpiece competition.
McAndrew in, bowls to Jacks, who plays that down the ground, only as far as Tamal Mills, who picks up and fields, but Jacks is very quick between the wickets. And by the time the Mills fielded that ball, they'd nipped through for a signal. Will Jacks has a little chat there to Nathan McAndrew. These players all know each other from the franchise cricket they play around the world. Nathan McAndrew has been key for Sussex throughout this campaign. Very fine cricketer, very competitive, tall Australian. He's going to come around the wicket now to Ryan Patel, who's 24 not out, 53 without loss in the 5th over. As in comes McAndrew, bowls to Patel, short, and Patel, well, good delivery by McAndrew. There was on to Patel a little quickly. He was going to pull that away onto the leg side. In the end, the ball just trickled down in front of him. And it's a dot ball, a welcome dot ball for Sussex. And the total remains 53 without loss. Just for those joining us, Ollie Robinson not in the Sussex side tonight with a knee injury. Hasn't looked fit for the last couple of games. Ollie Robinson probably did well to get through the game last night, but he doesn't play. Brad Curry in the side for him. Surrey winning the toss and electing to bat first. In comes McAndrew. Around the wicket, bowls, and Patel pulls out onto the leg side, takes one, and that's all there'll be as Brad Curry gets in front of Tom Alsop, the pair of them going for the same ball, and it's just a single to Patel, who goes to 25, and Surrey to 54 without loss.
Just to say, back in South London at the Kia Oval, Surrey women, who are already in the final of the women's competition on the 27th at the Kia Oval, they're playing the Bears women tonight. Surrey women batting first, 42 for 1. Bryony Smith has gone for 20, and that's after 5 overs. Grace Harris is 12 not out, Kira Chatley 14 not out.
Thank you, Churchy. As in comes Nathan McAndrew. Over the wicket, bowls to Will Jacks. Jacks clips this one away. That's going to probably be 4 more. Herring round the boundaries, James Coles. I don't think he'll cut that off. That's beautifully timed by Will Jack. Clips the ball away through mid-wicket, and James Coles quickly around the boundary edge. As athletic as he is, no chance of cutting that off. And it's 4 more to Will Jack. It's not more than a push really through the onside, but the outfield is quick. And James Coles doing well to avoid going headlong into the advertising hoardings.
Yeah, but
end of the over, 58 for no wicket after just 5 overs.
What I would say is, I can't see this pitch getting better. It looks an absolute cracker at the moment. Full value for your shots. Not trying to hit the ball too hard, these two. So actually it's playing absolutely fine at the moment. And Surrey are off to a really nice start here. 58 without loss after 5 overs. With it again, as I say, not doing anything spectacular. They've sort of been jumping down the pitch and trying to launch balls into the indoor school. They've just played authentic cricket shots. So Henry Crocombe into the attack for the first time from the Cromwell Road end of the ground, coming right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Patel. It's short and it's crashed off the back foot by Ryan Patel and over the boundary rope and away for 4. So Ryan Patel moves swiftly onto 29, I think he's on to now. Yep, and Surrey move on to 62 without loss, but they'll be pleased with this start. Surrey, few headaches for Tamal Mills, stood up there at the moment at mid-off. And it's Crocombe around the wicket again to Patel, back of a length delivery, looking to pull it, hits the thigh guard, rolls away into the leg side. Leg by will be the signal.
Henry Crocombe, I would say, Church, in my opinion, apart from when Tamal Mill bowls one of his rocket balls, I would say is as quick as Sussex has got, and I like him. I think he's really progressed this season as a bowler. Whatever happens tonight, I think he's shown that he's a really promising cricketer, and I think he's bowled well in this tournament, and indeed in the Championship. He didn't start until the end of May because of a shoulder injury, but I've been impressed with the way that he's bowled, but we'll see what happens tonight.
He's got the right-handed Jacks on strike. This is the last over of the power play with those fielding restrictions. That's well bowled on a good length, pushed by Will Jack straight back up the pitch, and Crocombe does the fielding off his own bowling.
He's worked very hard with James Kirtley, who's a decent bowling coach to have, more than decent, and he's as I say, I think he bowls with the yard of place, and has had since getting back into the side, has had a good season.
Waits again, does Will Jacks with that bat raise. Crocombe's in, that's the slower ball. That's nicely bowled. Jacks doesn't time that at all. That comes off the toe end of his bat and just potters out towards extra cover, and there is no run. So despite a boundary off the first ball of the over, he's come back nicely here, has Crocombe. Just needs a bit of control at the moment, does Tamal Mills. I just feel he hasn't got any control in this power play. 63 without loss, Surrey. Crocombe over the wicket he comes, outside his leg stump goes Jacks, hammers this, but they push the sweeper on the cover boundary round to a sweeper at cover point, very square of the wicket. So Clark was there to do the fielding. They'll pick up a single, so they can get 5 men outside that 30-yard circle after this over, so they get a bit of protection. Will the Sussex bowlers. 64 without loss. Surrey with one ball of the Crocombe over to come. Left arm around, right arm around the wicket, my apologies, as he's looking to pull this off a goodish length is Ryan Patel. And that's hitting the toe end of his bat, rolls away into the offside. He will pick up a single, and that is the end of the over from Crocombe, and that's a good first over from Crocombe, but it's a good power play for Surrey. That's the cheapest over so far from by far Crocombe, and 6 gone, and Surrey in the power play, 65 without loss.
And the players just taking the opportunity to have a drink, the two batters, Will Jacks and Ryan Patel. If you just joined us, very good evening on Sports Extra 3, BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey across all frequencies. You may be watching via the Sussex Cricket Club live stream. You may be watching around the ground, sitting in the ground watching the game. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening from, a very warm welcome. It's a packed out Hove. There's barely a seat to be had for this vital match as far as Sussex are concerned. Can they qualify for the Blast quarter-finals? They'll need to win to do so. Just a quick update on some of the other scores. Glamorgan at Cardiff are 77 without loss after 6 overs.
Solid start
against Middlesex. And down at Canterbury, Essex 68 without loss into the 7th over. So
unfortunately for Essex, they're finding form right at the end of the group stage, aren't they?
James Coles into the attack from the C end of the ground. Bowls to Patel, who hammers that straight to short extra cover, and he's on his way. He can't believe it. Catch is taken there by Nathan McAndrew, and the first wicket goes down, and James Coles picks up a wicket. Ryan Patel can't believe it, but he is on his way, and James Coles is someone who has the knack of picking up wickets and scoring runs, and he's done it again. It's drilled straight to McAndrew, who's down on his knees, takes the catch, and Sussex have picked up a wicket.
Well, he'll be really disappointed with that. Didn't even have a look, Ryan Patel. Just a little bit of turn there for Coles. I wonder how important spin's going to be. It's interesting, isn't it, that Surrey looked at this pitch and picked Yusuf Majid, the left arm spinner, and Coles comes into the attack and with his first ball picks up the first wicket. So here's Jason Roy. He's been a little bit short of runs in the last 2-3 games as Jason Roy started like an absolute train in the competition, but has been a little bit short of runs in the last couple of games, Jason Roy, but we all know what damage he can do if he gets going, Jason Roy.
Yes, his right-hander comes in to face the left-hand spin of James Coles. He batted beautifully last night for Sussex, made 62. It was a very large part of why Sussex won the game at Cheltenham last night. Coles is in, bowls to Roy, who plays firmly down the ground, too long off. Brad Curry comes sprinting in from the boundary to field in front of the pack stands behind him. And it's just a single. Total goes to 66 for 1 in the 7th over here.
Yeah, 339 runs in the comp this season for Jason Roy. But as I say, he started beautifully with the bat.
Will Jacks waits. In comes Coles around the wicket, bowls, and Jacks cuts firmly to backward point. There is no one. A bit of fielding there at backward point by Tom Clark there. Anyway, it's a dot ball. Coles again. In bowls. Jacks turns it onto the onside. It'll only be a single. No, that's Tom Clark, who comes running in from the mid-wicket boundary field. So good over this from James Coles. A wicket and then just a couple of singles conceded.
Yeah, I think we're seeing what this pitch is now. I think spin is going to play a massive part this evening.
And of course, Will Jacks can bowl spin.
Absolutely, and then you've got Yusuf Majid as well. All Coles is doing here is sticking it in the pitch.
Coles in again, bowls to Jason Roy, and Roy reverse sweeps. He's hit on the pad. There's a loud appeal from James Coles as the ball dribbles down towards backward point, fielded there by Daniel Hughes. It's a leg by. Total goes to 67 for 1. So a decent couple of overs here for Sussex. The over from Henry Crocombe that cost 6 runs, and now this over from James Coles that so far has just cost 3 runs. Coles in again, bowls to Jackson. Jacks plays that down the ground and picks up a single. And that's a good over by James Coles. He'll be very pleased with his night's work so far. Jacks goes to 36. Surrey are 69 for 1 at the end of the 7th over. Jack's on 36. And Ryan Patel, who was caught by Nathan McAndrew off the bowling of James Coles for 30.
Well, James Coles, sort of talking about him before the game started, he's got a lot in his favour as well, in the fact that he's a tall lad as well, bowling that left arm spin. And what I also like about him, and I saw a little bit of this in the championship game, is when he appeals, it's Warne-esque. He's down on one knee, back towards the umpire. So it's a little bit like finishing the opera from him, isn't it? With the big number at the end, down on one knee. But it's a very good first over from him. Now Scott Curry is now switching to bowl from the Cromwell Road end of the ground. It's going to come left arm around the wicket to the right-handed Will Jacks. This is the start of the 8th over. Taking the pace off it, Jacks pushes into the offside. Oh dear, misfield, and that will bring Surrey back for 2. Just there on the edge of the circle, Crocombe came flying in but missed the ball.
Yeah.
So it means that Surrey get back for 2, and it means that Will Jacks will move on to 38. Yeah, it's good running because they put him under pressure and he could see them going. He just took his eye off the ball for a second, and that enabled them to get back for a couple more. Jacks on to 38 now as Curry's into him, takes all the pace off it again, and forward goes Will Jacks. Pushes this one straight down the ground towards long on, takes a single. The other thing about batting first, and it's the same for both sides, but of course the Surrey Brains Trust and the batters are able to sort of sit there and watch the way that Sussex are bowling, where they're getting success, and then that will give them an indicator of what they may have to do in the second half of the game. Jason Roy on to strike for the first time here to Curry as someone blows their whistle in the crowd. That's always a good thing to bring to cricket, is a whistle. As this one's turned straight down the ground by Jason Roy, will just be a single, one more to the total. Roy moves on to 273 for 1. Sorry.
Interesting, you were talking about Will Jacks, Churchy, and saying that he's now, taking his time in these T20 matches. You just get the feeling here that maybe he is looking to, not say to bat the whole innings, but to bat longer than perhaps he was before. Yeah, 39 off 25.
It's the same with Jason Roy. Jason Roy just starts these days having a little look first. Outside the leg stump goes Jacks, followed by Curry. Nicely bowled. Jacks turns this one straight down the ground for another single. Jacks is on to 40 from 26 deliveries. Surrey move on to 74 for 1 here on Sports Extra 3. BBC Radio Surrey, BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio London, of course, and the BBC Sport website and app, and on the Sussex live stream. As left arm around the wicket goes Curry. Driving is Jason Roy down towards long off. He'll take another single. So one more to the total. And the other thing that the opening partnership of Patel and Jacks has done is it enables Jason Roy just to have a look as well. 75 for 1, Surrey. 8th over. Curry's just wiping a bit of dirt off the ball. He did play the game back in South London, Curry, I think. As left arm around the wicket he comes once again, and Will Jacks is sweeping this off the stumps. He knows fine legs on the edge of the circle, so he's got down on one knee, and he put Curry, when Curry bowled from the C end, into the stand for 6. That one he's just got bat on it. It's all along the carpet. It's down to the fine leg boundary rope and away for 4. 8 overs gone. Jacks 44, Roy 3, Surrey 79 for 1.
And indeed he did play at that game at the Oval Church. You've got a very good memory. 3 overs, 1 for 28. He actually got the wicket of Jason Roy, who was caught by Tom Clark for a duck.
So interesting again. That's what I was thinking, is that you often see this, don't you? And they'll talk about this. So as soon as Jason Roy comes out, Curry comes back on, having got him out. This is all these matchups that they talk about these days.
So James Coles is going to bowl his second over. First over was good over, just cost 5 runs. And he's coming in from the C end of the ground. The music ramps up here at a packed out county ground. What a beautiful night for T20 cricket. But it is James Coles who's going to be bowling to Jason Roy, who's 3 not out. He's in and bowls, and Roy down the leg side. Bale's whipped off by John Simpson. There's a roar from the crowd, but that's actually signalled a wide. we'll get one more run and an extra ball to be bowled by James Coles. Total goes to 80 for 1. Coles again bowls, hammered down the ground by Jason. It was a full toss, fielded in front of us by Henry Crocombe. Number 5 on the back of his royal blue shirt, as Churchy was saying, with a yellow flash across the front. Surrey in their duck egg blue shirts. James Coles, number 30 on the back of his shirt, coming into bowl. Left arm spin, 4 or 5 paces around the wicket. Bowls, Jacks waits, it's a full toss, it's hammered away onto the offside, but just be a single, fielded by Tom Alsop in front of the members pavilion over to our left hand side. Throw comes in, one more to Jacks, who goes to 45 of 28 deliveries. And Surrey 82 for 1. Coles again. Round the wicket, bowls to Roy, and Roy plays it onto the leg side. Again, they just take a single as Crocombe comes into field. Roy goes to 5, so to 83 for 1.
Not quite exerting himself yet, Jason Roy, is he? He's sort of just walking that single. But yes, this is what he does now, Jason Roy. Just has a little look before he goes for the spectacular.
Coles in, bowls to Jacks, who tries to make room for himself. Plays around. Good bit of bowling by James Coles. I think he saw Will Jacks coming and pushed that a little wider. And all Jacks could do was to play it to Nathan McAndrew at short extra cover. Good over by Coles. 3 singles wide, but avoiding any boundaries thus far. Coles in again, bowls, and Jacks drives again to extra cover. This time McAndrews there, doesn't time it as Will Jacks. So 4 singles and a wide, so 5 off the over so far.
Very good over again, this from James Coles.
He'll be keen to get out of this over without a boundary. Can he achieve it around the wicket? In and bowls, and Roy thumps that down the ground, and he does achieve it. It's played down the ground, fielded by Brad Curry, who comes running into field. So 2 very fine overs by James Cole, the young 21. Live stream as well.
Well, it's all disappeared. Everything's gone off. I feel a bit happier about this. I've christened it tummy ache bowling when it was a bit like it was in that first 6 overs where he didn't have control from either end. But now he's got control. As Tamal Mills scores back 85 for 1
At the end of the 9th.
at the end of the 9th over. So, start of the 10th, Danny Lamb into the attack to bowl his little wibbly wobblies, because he doesn't bother with any pace whatsoever, and that's driven straight down the ground by Jason Roy for a single, and that will move Roy on to 7. Surrey move on to 86 for 1. Will Jacks comes back onto strike on 46 from 30 deliveries. The other thing that Lamb does is he hides the ball as he runs up, so he bowls with his right hand, he puts the left hand over the ball so they can't see what he's trying to bowl, as this is tucked away by Will Jacks straight to short fine. Roy calls him through for the single, and they're through for one more, 87 for 1. Jacks moves on to 47. There's the trumpeter getting the crowd going.
Yes.
Someone's bought a whistle as well. I've heard that a couple of times. There's just one whistle. Someone's sort of got up this morning and thought hat, sun cream, whistle. As Lamb is in, and Roy is just working in singles at the moment. Jason Roy plays this one down towards long on. They'll stroll one more. Roy on to 8. Surrey 88 for 1.
I think Sussex will be pleased here at the minute, because it's been a little while since there's been a boundary, and I think Sussex will be quite happy to concede 6s and 7s and over at the moment.
I think Surrey have set themselves that challenge of let's get a big total on the board. As in over the wicket goes Lamb to Jacks, and Jacks on the front foot and then just sweeps it away out towards deep mid-wicket, and they will pick up another single. So what we are seeing with the pitch is it's played better than I think Tamar Mel's probably thought it would in those first 6 overs. Now they're taking all the pace off. All pace off now. And Coles has bowled very nicely. Crocombe bowled nicely, and Lamb started well here.
Yes.
No pace at all from Danny Lamb. He's got Simpson up to the stumps. Down the slope he comes, and Roy is reverse sweeping, hits the pad, rolls down towards Tamal Mills, who's at short third. He's got a bit of bat on that, I think he has. It's a little inside edge onto that pad, and Roy will pick up another single. Surrey move on to 90 for 1. So Will Jacks 2 away from yet another 50. Been so consistent for Surrey in the competition this season as Will Jacks. And after this over will be at halfway. As in over the wicket goes Lamb, and Jacks again doesn't time this with the pace off. Toe end of the bat, but straight down the ground for a single. The singles off every ball of the over there. So they've taken 6 off the over. That's the halfway point. And Surrey winning the toss, batting first on 91 for 1.
If you just joined us, a very good evening. Welcome to live cricket here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey. Also on Sports Extra 3. Myself, Adrian Harms, alongside Mark Church. You're at a packed out Hove in a match that Sussex need to win if they're going to qualify for the quarter-finals of the T20 Blast. Elsewhere in the Southern Group, Glamorgan 94 for 2 in the 10th over against Middlesex in Cardiff. Essex 92 for 2 against Kent down at Canterbury. The relevance of both of those matches, well, neither will matter in the South Group if Sussex win this game. If Sussex don't win, then either Kent or Glamorgan could find themselves in the quarter-finals. We'll see how that pans out, and I'll give you the scores of the Northern Group as we go along. Henry Croker back into the attack, to bowl to the right-handed Will Jacks. He's in and bowls. Jacks clips that one onto the onside. It'll just be a single because Curry is very quickly in from long on to field. One more to the total, which goes to 92 for 1, and the applause around the ground is for the
50 for Will
Jacks.
Fifth one
of this competition.
Yeah. So
50 and 34 balls.
He want to go on here though. He's had a 97. And there's Will Jacks, but he'll want to go on here. He's got 10 overs still to go. Well, 9.5.
Croker. And again to Jason Roy, who's 9 not-out bowls. And Roy's forward and plays that down the ground again. It's just a single. Doesn't really time that, Jason Roy. Goes to 10. The total to 93 points. So elsewhere in the Northern Group, Birmingham Bears 113 without loss against the Derbyshire Falcons. Durham, Northamptonshire batting first at 86 for 1 against Durham. Leicestershire 95 for 3 against Yorkshire. And Lancashire 58 for 5 against Nottinghamshire. In comes Croker, bowls, Jacks pulls, doesn't time it, the ball just dribbles its way to long off, to mid-off, where it's fielded by James Coles. Didn't time that at all, Will Jacks. Goes to 94 for 1, and perhaps it's you never know until both sides have batted, of course. Terrell Mills hoping that with the floodlights coming on, maybe a bit of dew around, maybe it'll be a little easier to time, we shall see. Henry Croker's doing a good job for Sussex here, just the 3 singles off the over so far. He's back to his mark. Running away from us, in and bowls to Roy, and Roy hammers this one, but only as far as mid-off again. Again, James Coles fields at the end of the circle. And it's another single, 95 for 1.
Well, it's very good from Sussex. It's good from Jackson Roy here. They're not getting frustrated at the moment. Because of that power play with the bat, they can take a little bit of time here just to get used to the pace of the pitch.
Crocombe, 4 singles off the over. Comes into bowl to Will Jacks. 51 not out. He's in and bowls, and Jacks forces this one around to the offside. They take a single. It's well fielded by Nathan McAndrew in the covers, who wrings his hands as he stops the ball. But it's another single. Now Will Jacks wants something brought out for him. I don't know if it's a new bat or quite what, but he's signalled towards the dugout. He just looked a bit frustrated there, Will Jacks. Nonetheless, he goes to 52. So to 96 for 1 in the 11th. Crocombe in bowls. Roy pulls onto the leg side, and that's going to be the first boundary for some time. Pulled away between mid-wicket and mid-on. So boundary off the last ball of the over from Jason Roy. It brings up the Surrey 100. They're 100 for 1 at the end of the 11th over, with Jason Roy on 15 and Will Jacks on 52.
Well, 2 things with that for Jason Roy. It's not the most elegant shot he'll ever play, but he waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and then slung it through the leg side. And had Jason Roy tried that at the start of his innings, I think it probably would have gone straight up in the air. But what he's done is he's given himself a look. He's picked up the pace of the pitch. Now they'll just try and push it on from here with 9 to go, 100 on the board at the moment. And Jacks, I think it was a drink and a towel for Will Jacks there. So 9 to go, 100 for 1. The other thing here, of course, is Surrey. You said they're about a long way down, and they've still got 9 wickets in touch at the moment in that dugout. Sam Curran to come in next. So, Will Jacks and Jason Roy having a bit of a natter about everything. It's getting a little like the IPL this, with sort of drinks breaks and everything. T20.
Yes, no, absolutely.
100 for 1, because the IPL games go on for days. As Tom Mills back into the attack, the captain, and he takes all the pace off his first delivery from that Cromwell Road end. Start of the 12th, just a single for Jacks, straight down the pitch. And Jacks will move on to 53, 101 for 1. Lots of people in the corporate boxes.
Yes, it was very busy. I wandered around there when I walked out onto the pitch earlier on, and lots of people in there enjoying meals and
Yes,
glasses of wine, etc.
very pleasant way to spend your evening.
Yes, indeed.
And the big stand down there at the Cromwell Road end, that's full up now. As left arm around the wicket goes Mills, full toss, driving is Jason Roy. It's off a thick edge actually, rolls down to short third.
Oh, that's
a
sloppy.
terrible bit of cricket from Sussex and Danny Lamb, and the throw over the top of the stumps, and they'll pick up another single, one more to the total, and Jason Roy moves on to 16. Will Jacks comes back onto strike on 53, and the right-handed Will Jacks comes back onto strike. 53 for Jacks. Surrey 102 for 1. As Tamal Mills comes left arm around the wicket, short ball, and again all the pace off. So Jacks was through that very early, and it's one bounce into the gloves of John Simpson, moving away to his left-hand side. And Jacks and Jason Roy get together for a bit of a natter about everything. I'm not quite sure what that conversation was about. Welcome back, everybody. No idea why that's happening, because everything at this end's working. So we've got no idea why you lost us there, I'm afraid. 102 for 1. As Tamal Mills, down the slope he comes. Left arm around the wicket, and that's the Yorker. Gets bat on it, does Jacks. Thick inside edge. Rolls down towards short fine. Will pick up a single. Jacks moves on to 54. Surrey move on to 103 for 1. Crowd haven't quite got into this yet, because we haven't had stumps flying all over the place, and we haven't had 4s and 6s.
No, we haven't. Started off with 4s and 6s.
We did, and now I think Sussex have worked out the best way to go about it with the ball, and that's all pace off. Tamal Mills, 5th ball of the over, left arm around the wicket he comes, to Jason Roy, waits on that front foot, slaps it straight down the ground towards long on, and they'll pick up another single. 104 for 1, Surrey.
It's clearly not easy to time the ball out there, Church, and I wondered therefore whether Jacks or Roy will want to. Surrey will need Jacks or Roy to bat deep here, because it's not easy for someone coming in to pick up the pace.
It's not, and sort of Sussex got it wrong in the first 6 overs, because now we're beginning to see what Mr. Mills was talking about at the toss. Here he comes, running towards us, left arm around the wicket to Jacks. Jacks goes up and over the top of mid-off. Now he hasn't got all of this either, but he will pick up a couple as Coles goes sweeping round from that cover boundary rope. So 2 more to Will Jacks. End of the over, 12 gone, 106 for 1, Surrey. So 6 off that Tamal Mills over. Again, this is not what you expect with T20 cricket. You're expecting 4s, 6s, wickets. But at the moment, because of the nature of the pitch, and Sussex got it wrong in the first 6 overs, now we're seeing that it's a sticky old wicket, this one. It really is.
Meanwhile, elsewhere, Glamorgan 106 for 4 against Middlesex down at Cardiff after 11 overs, and down at Canterbury, Essex 105 for 2 after 12 overs and 5 balls against Kent. They're the other scores in the Southern group. In comes James Coles back into the attack, bowls to Jason Roy, who tries to drill the ball down the ground, doesn't time it. Coles makes a good stop down the leg, so you can hear the horrible sound it made off of Jason Roy's bat.
This is one of those where you're worried about your bat, because they haven't timed anything since the 6th over.
Coles in again, bowls, and Roy times that, and that's going to be 4 runs. hits the ball between mid-on and mid-wicket, and Jason Roy picks up a boundary, and a welcome boundary for Surrey. Roy goes to 21, Surrey to 110 for 1.
It's just the line of that, and you could see Coles was annoyed with himself coming around the wicket, and he started that one about off stump, so that enables Roy just to muscle it through the leg side on the angle.
Coles in again, bowls, and Roy hits this
shot.
one. That's a lovely shot. Well, he just lofted that over the infield. That's a proper cricket shot. Over the covers, 4 runs. Back-to-back boundaries for Jason Roy, who goes to 29. Just wonder whether Surrey have thought, here, right, we need to put off to the floor here a little bit. Nice shot. Back-to-back boundaries. James Coles up all very tidily. His 2 overs prior to this only cost 9 runs, and he picked up the wicket. The only wicket to go down, that of Ryan Patel. He's in again, bowls, and Roy hammers that down the ground, and that's going to go for 4 more. I tell you what, that would have stung James Cole's fingertips. He absolutely belted that back at James Coles. He's got his hand to it. It's the 50 partnership between the pair, but that was absolutely... He did get a hand to it, Coles.
Well, technically that's a chance,
yeah,
but that's one of those that either sticks or doesn't. And I'm just pleased for James Coles, he's still got his fingers.
Yes.
Because he hammered that, but again, I'm sorry to be boring. I'll go back to what I said. He's given himself a chance here, Jason Roy. He's had a look, now he's got the pace of the pitch.
29 to Coles. The umpire was in danger there as well as the ball was belted back towards him. Coles. So 12 off the over so far. Big over for Surrey. James Coles just pauses, composes himself, and is in. Around the wicket, bowls to Roy, and Roy this time drills the ball down the ground to long on, and picks up a single. He goes to 30, and Surrey to 119 for 1. 1 ball remaining of the 13th over.
Yeah, he's looking at the toe end of his bat. Jason Roy again there. Might need some chalk at this rate.
Coles in, bowls to Jacks, and Jacks has gone high, wide and handsome. Nobody needs to chase that. That's gone for 6 runs. That disappears into the corporate entertaining area here at home, way to our right hand side. Well, there's always a big over somewhere, and that was a big over as far as Surrey were concerned. 19 runs coming off of it. James Coles had been very tidy before then. 3 4s and a 6. Now someone's got to try and find the ball, which has disappeared away to our right hand side.
It's excellent batting from these two. As I say, they've got the pace of this now. Coles, that was a little bit flatter with a bit of extra pace on it actually, and that just, his eyes lit up, Will Jacks. He had something to work with there, and he's absolutely launched. I think that's out of the ground.
Yes, it is out of the ground. That's 19 off that over, Churchy.
Yeah, so, and it's just experience from these two. It really is. It's not going hell for leather from ball 1. It's right. Okay, the first 6 overs Sussex got it wrong, that happens. Then they got it right, and these two have had a chat and said, listen, don't go after everything at the start of this partnership. Just knock it down the ground, take our ones. When we get used to the pace of it, then we'll go.
Slightly worryingly, Finn Hudson-Prentice just come onto the field. I think James Coles might have gone off the field. I might have missed that. Now, whether that return catch has stung his fingers.
Well, yeah, let's hope he's okay, because that was a fearsome strike.
I can't see him, but certainly Finn Hudson-Prentice is on the field.
Here's Danny Lamb then to bowl the 14th over, and that's a full toss, low full toss, slow full toss. Jason Roy waits for it and pulls it away out there towards deep mid-wicket, and they will pick up a single.
That is James Coles. So somebody else is off. Pretty certain I saw Finn Hudson-Prentice come onto the field, so we'll keep an eye as to...
Maybe just snuck on and then snuck off. Could be one of those. Jacks comes back on to strike on 62. Over the wicket goes Lamb to him. He's driving away through the covers for 4, over pitch by Danny Lamb, and he side that as Will Jacks threw the bottom hand into it, and away through the covers it goes, smashes into the boundary boards. Jacks is on to 66 and 130 for 1. It's clever batting this from Jackson Roy. As Lamb's in again, Jacks will work down the ground for a single. And the other thing, Adrian Harms, is 131 for 1. They still kept the scoreboard moving round. Yep, they were taking singles, but they were still going at 6 and over. Now they've got used to the pace of it. And now they're just beginning to go through the gears.
Yeah, current run rate for Surrey 9.7 and over.
Because they were going at nearly 12 in that first 6, as Jason Roy, little leading edge, trying to work it through the leg side. Jax is thinking about a second, but has slipped over, and that'll just be 1. So 1 more to the total, 132 for 1. Roy moves on to 32 from 22. Jack 67 from 43. Came together with the score on 65. They're having a chat about it again down there. And our Messrs Jackson Roy.
Yeah, Tamel Mills just pointing to his wristwatch there, saying to the umpire, I hope you're keeping a note of this, umpire, because there is a certain time by which Surrey...
They'll add a minute on, I would have thought, to the cut-off. He's reverse sweeping this time. Wow, he struck that well. As Will Jacks, because it's beaten the dive of Tamar Mills at short third. But that's a reverse sweep where he's absolutely nailed it past Tamar Mills. That's whistled to the boundary rope, and Jacks has moved on to 71. Surrey move on to 136 for 1.
Super shot, wasn't it? Tamel Mills diving full length. Couldn't stop that.
So 1 ball of the over to go. Danny Lamb is over the wicket to Will Jacks, and Jacks will just take a single down the ground. 1 more to him. He's on to 72. End of the over, so 6 to go. For Surrey, having won the toss, batted first, the lights are coming on at Surrey, 137 for 1. Jacks and Roy constantly in communication with each other, but the lights now coming on here at Hove, and Surrey 6 overs remaining, so they'll want another 60 on here.
Yes, they will. If you're just joining us, welcome to our live cricket coverage here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey, BBC London, also Sports Extra 3. You may be watching via the Sussex live stream. Adrian Harms, Mark Churchill, commentary team at a packed Hove. Floodlights coming on. And Surrey 137 for 1, as Churchy was saying. 6 overs to go. Henry Croker back into the attack. Bowls to Will Jackson, clips that down to deep backward square. Picks up 1. They think about 2, but it isn't there. Fielded out on the leg side boundary. It goes to 138 for 1. Henry Croker, whose previous 2 overs have been good overs, just 2 overs for 15.
Yep.
Young Henry Croker runs away from us. Coming into bowl to Jason Roy. It's 32 not out. He's in and bowls, and Roy hammers that one away onto the leg side, but it's only as far as Clark, who comes in and fields off of the mid-wicket boundary, and it's another single. Jason Roy goes to 33. And Surrey to 139 for 1. Just a reminder for those who may have just joined us, the importance of this match for Sussex. If they win, they fill the final qualifying berth in this South group. Crocombe in, bowled, hammered away by Jacks. Is it going to be caught? No, it's gone all the way for 6 runs. Well, it was just punched away over extra cover. The ball is carried away down towards the Sussex Museum in the members' stand. Well, that was a strange shot, wasn't it? But it's gone all the way for 6, and Jacks goes to 79, and Surrey 145 for 1.
Well, that's strong wrists and a brilliant eye from Will Jacks, because he's just taken a step outside the leg stump and then with those wrists gone over the covers for 6.
Crocombe in again, bowls to Jacks, and Jacks hits on firmly to backward point. Good bit of fielding there at backward point by, who's that down there? I think that's Daniel Hughes, the Australian. No run.
I'll be interested to see if what Tamel Mills wanted happens. Lights come on, bit of dew, makes batting a bit easier second time round, but they're up against a very experienced Surrey attack. I don't think a chase is going to be that straightforward tonight.
Crocombe in, bowls, hammered away by Jacks through the offside. Is that going to be another boundary? It is another boundary. A little bit too much width from Henry Crocombe. And Will Jacks is seeing it like a football. He goes to 83 off 49, total 149 for 1.
This is why Surrey are a much better side than they have been in previous years. In previous years, they would have walked out there from ball 1. They had those 6 overs and kept trying to do what they were doing, and it would have been spectacular and a huge amount of fun, but they'd have probably been out for about 160.
Crocombe in again, bowls, and Jacks drives through the offside, just to pick up a single on this occasion. That brings up 150 for Surrey at the end of the over. 150 for 1. But the scoreboard has rather unhelpfully got off. What we can tell you though, there is 15 overs gone, so 5 overs to go. And immediately Surrey going along at exactly 10 and over here. And this has been some partnership between these two coming together when Ryan Battelle was out with a score on 65. More towels coming out for the Surrey batters.
Well, they'll take this into account. It's a very hot, sticky night tonight. Humid. There's talks of thunderstorms. It'll be the same for Sussex. They probably talked about it before the game started, so they'll add a bit of time on again to that cut-off. But you know, it's almost subtropical conditions. You see a lot of this on the subcontinent, don't you? Because the players have got sweat in their eyes with the helmets on. So I'm pretty sure they'll have all talked about this before the game started, because it is hot and humid tonight, with this talk of the great thunderstorm arriving at some point. I hope it's not when I'm halfway down the M23. Yes. I want to float back to Kent. I must be honest.
Just a quick update, Churchy, down at Cardiff, Glamorgan 127 for 5 now against Middlesex in the 15th over. Essex 125 for 3 at Canterbury after 16 overs against Kent.
They're all nicely poised, these games at the moment.
Well,
third over, Tamar Mills for him. And it's the 16th over of this Surrey innings. Up and over the top goes Will Jacks. One bounce to the extra cover boundary rope for 4. Well, Will Jacks is absolutely motoring now. And as I say, this is why they're a better T20 side now, Surrey. This has been, it's just been such an intelligent way of going about this tonight. Jacks is on to 88. 154 for 1. Jack settles over his bat once more. To Mal Mills, left arm around the wicket to him, slower ball again, hammered, but they've moved the sweeper on the cover rope out to sweep on that extra cover position now. So that's just a single. Jack moves on to 89. 155 for 1. This partnership's now worth 90.
10 and over here gets Surrey to 200. I suspect they might want more. They'll be looking for more than that.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
They will be, but I think that'll be a pretty good total on here.
Yes, it will.
I think it'll be hard work for Sussex tonight, because again, Surrey have seen the way Sussex have gone about it with the ball. Little skip from Tamal Mills. As around the wicket he goes to Jason Roy. That's short. That's pulled by Roy. Straight out to deep backward square. That'll be the other key thing for Surrey, is fielders in exactly the right place. On a pitch like this, you've got to have your fielders in exactly the right place. 156 for 1. When I was playing club cricket, do you know what this would have been described as? A sticky dog of a wicket. A sticky old dog of a wicket, this would have been called. 156 for 1. Don't blame Sussex at all though, because home game, your advantage. Around the wicket again goes Mills, slower ball, driven by Jacks. Out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. 157 for 1. And that is why Surrey are playing Yusuf Majid. They've got rid of a batter in Ollie Sykes and they're playing the spinner, extra spinner. They looked at this pitch and they thought, right, this is going to be into the pitch, left arm. They've got the left arm option and the off spin of Will Jacks tonight. Jason Roy settles himself over his bat once more on 34. Around the wicket goes Tom Allen Mills to him, left arm around, and Roy waits on the front foot, then pulls it out towards deep backward square. They'll take another single. I tell you what, it'd be fascinating to add up the number of singles in this innings. There can't be, I doubt in T20 terms there have been as many singles probably in an innings as we've seen tonight. 158 for 1.
And it is a ground where if you've got your field set right, it is quite difficult to take twos.
Yes. Waiting once more is Jacks. 90 not out now, Will Jacks. Has a 97 this season. As around the wicket goes Mills to him, and he's pulling a short ball. 1 bounce, 2 bounces, down to the boundary rope for 4. It's well played again by Will Jacks, because that one he genuinely banged in, did Tamal Mills. And Will Jacks waiting and then just helped it around the corner. He's on to 94 now, is Will Jacks. The partnership's approaching 100. It's 97 the partnership. There are 4 overs to go for Surrey, and they are 162 for 1.
And he'll just be annoyed with himself, Tamal Mills, then just not to get out of that over without a boundary. It's an over that cost Sussex 12 runs. Nathan McAndrew to bowl the next over. If you just joined us, a very good evening. Welcome to Sports Extra 3 and BBC Radio, Sussex, Surrey and London, live under the lights at Hove, a packed house. And Surrey going along very nicely, 162 for 1, as Churchy was saying. Will Jacks on 94, Jason Roy on 35. As in comes McAndrew. Oh, that's gone
Good
a
luck.
long way into the air. Underneath this is Tom Clark, who takes a... Well, he picked up the wrong fielder there, did Jason Roy, because Tom Clark is a very, very fine fielder. Pulled onto the leg side, and Jason Roy goes. A partnership of 97 between Roy and Jacks is ended, and a big wicket as far as Sussex were concerned, and he picked his fielder there because Tom Clark is a very, very fine fielder. That went many a mile up into the air. In truth, he never looked like dropping it.
Yeah, that was up there a long, long way, and that came down with snow on it. But he made it look very straightforward.
Yes, he's very good, Tom Clark. I think it's true to say that certainly in terms of championship cricket, he hasn't made the runs that he would have expected to this season. But you know what? And it's not a reason for keeping somebody in the side. I appreciate that. But if you've got somebody who catches like he does in the slips, you know, it's worth a few runs. But he hasn't had a great season with the bat, but his fielding is impeccable, and that was a very good catch.
Sam Curran out there in the middle now. That was a good innings from Jason Roy. Not his most spectacular, but did what he had to do with Will Jacks. Very, very smart innings that, Jason Roy. So here's Sam Curran. Be interested to see how he goes about it, because I think on here it's going to be very difficult from ball one to go big.
Yes. Let's see what Curran does. He's facing Nathan McAndrew. So the music beats out. And Nathan McAndrew pauses at the end of his run and runs away from us. In and bowls to Curran, and Curran immediately has looks like pull that one away on the leg side and gets hit round. I think in that little gap between the pad and the thigh pad, he'll have a nasty bruise there tomorrow.
Well, that's hit him straight on the inside of the knee.
Ouch, they hurt.
Yep, but there's his intention.
Yes, the skipper not hanging around.
Well, we are in the 17th over, that's the other thing, and there's a lot of batting still in that dugout. So, I think here you can now. I think you can have a go. But it's not going to be easy from ball two now for Sam Curran.
Good over so far for Sussex. McAndrew in bowl short, and that sails over the head of Curran, and it's gone through to John Simpson. That was pacey from McAndrew.
There is a bit in there, because Tamal Mills, the ball that pulled by Will Jacks before the last ball of his last over, that just rushed Jacks a touch. But that was a good delivery from McAndrew.
He's such a good cricketer, Nathan McAndrew. He's been Paul Farbris has made some very shrewd signings, and McAndrew's one who goes slightly under the radar, but he's a very good cricketer.
Hugely experienced
Yes.
as well.
Runs away from us. In and bowls to Curran, and Curran swings away onto the leg side. It's just going to be a single because James Coles is very quickly round at deep mid-wicket, gets in the throw.
When you were with us
163 for 2.
a couple of weeks ago in South London, did we have DJ Tony that evening?
I think you did.
We're huge fans now of DJ Tony, myself and Kevin Howes. Kevin Howes has been offered the chance to go into the booth with DJ Tony and do some mixing, but he's turned it down. But DJ Tony, what I like about DJ Tony is he worked out after about one game that he's normal, because he's been on stage with 50 Cent, who's apparently very famous.
Here comes McAndrew, bowls to Jackson, clips this one through mid-wicket. That's going to be 4 runs. No, brilliantly stopped. Very good piece of fielding now on the leg side boundary. Denies Will Jack. In fact, they're going to get an overthrow now. That was a little sloppy. So a good bit of fielding. Not the greatest throw. It was a combination of Crocombe and Clark out there. They stopped the boundary. The throw came in. It wasn't the best. John Simpson couldn't take it cleanly. And Will Jackson's come back for a third. He goes to 97. And Surrey to 166 for 2 with one ball remaining of the 17th.
But he worked out, DJ Tony, that his normal stuff wasn't going to work. So he's gone to the old classics and mixed them all up together. And he's very, very good, I have to say.
Well, we've got music and all sorts with these T20 games. In comes McAndrew to bowl to Sam Curran. He's in and bowls. Curran heaves that away on the leg side, and I've lost track of that.
6.
Gone for 6. He's belted that away. And a good end to the Nathan O'Connor furious with himself. He kicks away at the crease. He can't believe it. I guess it's one of the golden rules of T20. You don't want to go for runs off the final ball of the over. It was too short, and Sam Curran just hammered that away over long on for 6. 172 for 2 are Surrey. 3 overs remaining. Jacks is on 97. Curran is on 7. If you just joined us live cricket here, BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Surrey, BBC Radio London. We're live at Hove. Hope you're enjoying the action under the floodlights here on the south coast.
Well, he's on 97, Will Jacks. He's got a 97 already in the competition at home against Middlesex. He would dearly love to find the 3 runs here. This has been such an intelligent innings from Will Jacks. 97 not out. Start of the 18th, and it's Henry Crocombe down the slope to him. He's driving. Just get a single here, I think, out to the sweeper on the cover rope. So he's on to 98, is Will Jacks. Of course, he does have hundreds for Surrey. He has hundreds in the IPL as well. Will Jacks. On to strike comes the captain, Sam Curran. 7 to his name. Crocombe will come around the wicket to Sam Curran. The 5 out at the moment are the deepish backward point on the boundary rope, and the sweeper on the cover rope, mid on, long on, and then 2 back on that leg side boundary. So 3 on the leg side boundary rope, 2 on the offside boundary rope as Crocombe comes in over the wicket to Sam Curran, who's picked this up. Fetch that. Slower ball, and Sam Curran has hit the top of the scoreboard where the clock is, and that's gone out the ground.
I think that might have ended up on a balcony in one of the flats outside the ground. I think it rolled across. Does it go to that balcony where there's some towels?
So I think.
Or did it disappear below that?
I wonder if it's got over the wall. There's some nice cars parked along that wall. I think the great and good get their own parking spaces, don't they?
Yes. Were you parked underground tonight?
Thankfully, with the way this is going, yes, I am. Well, yes, of course. What I meant to tell you as well is, you should be calling me Richard Church, because on the press list tonight, I was down as Richard Church. Oh, yes. So I enjoyed that. 179 for 2, because the lovely gentleman he said, I haven't got you on here, Mark. And I said, I spoke to the great Adrian Harms. And I said, and so then we found your name, and next to yours was Richard Church.
Don't talk to me about parking. I've not had a good day. I picked up a parking ticket at the Utility Bowl.
Hey?
Yeah.
Did you not put your reg in?
No.
170. That's the new thing this year. Oh, bad luck.
Yeah. Well, I think hopefully we'll get it rescinded. We'll hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. As in over the wicket comes Crocombe, and it's a full toss, and this is hit down the ground by Sam Curran, and he'll pick up a single. 180 for 2. I had it at the station, Adrian Harms. I put in 1 letter too many in my reg because the button got stuck and I didn't realise, and I still got done for it. You just thought they'd have realised. 180 for 2. So Jack's on to strike on 98 as Crocombe comes over the wicket to Will Jacks. Jacks drives half a hand at extra cover, and he'll only get a single here, and that will move him on to 99. That's a great bit of work on the edge of the circle, because he nailed that.
I think that's Danny Lamb.
Yeah,
that would have stung Danny Lamb's fingers.
It would have done. But it moves Jacks on to 99 now, but he's at the non-striker's end. There are 14 balls of the Surrey innings. And as I say, it's been a very intelligent display this from Surrey with the bat. Sam Curran, 14 not out. Crocombe, down the slope he comes over the wicket to Curran. Bowls in, knocks his leg stump out the ground, because Sam Curran's jumped across and tried to flick it over short fine and misses it. Leg stump out the ground. The captain goes for 14, and Surrey are 181 for 3.
Yeah, well, he's been hit for a big 6 in the over as Henry Crocombe, so he'll be pleased to have picked up a wicket with the 5th ball of the over.
Crowd are into this now.
This is an imposing total from Surrey, and they'll be looking here to get themselves to at least a couple of hundred, you would thought. But Sussex know exactly what they've got to do. They've got to win the game, so they need to qualify for the group. I would imagine that there'll be debates about how they're going to go about this.
Well,
But
Dan Lawrence,
it's a big total.
Dan Lawrence making his way. He's in good form. That 120 not out was one of the best T20 innings I've ever seen. And Dan Lawrence.
Just going to very quickly bring you up to what's happening down at Cardiff, where Glamorgan are 170 for 6. Dan Douthwaite going on very nicely. He's 22 not out. Glamorgan still with a chance of qualifying if Sussex lose here. And Essex have stalled down at Canterbury, 165 for 5. Kent could qualify if they win and Sussex lose here.
So
all very tight.
Apologies, last ball of the over. Crocombe, first ball for Dan Lawrence. He's ball, knocked his middle stump out the ground. Now the crowd are into it because Crocombe will be on a hat-trick if he bowls the last over. But Dan Lawrence has looked to whip that through the leg side. It's one of his favourite shots. He's missed it and his middle stump has got its passport out, gone through passport control and has ended up somewhere near the edge of the inner circle. So he's gone first ball. Unfortunately for Crocombe, that's the last ball of his over. But if he does bowl the last one, has he got any overs left, young Crocombe?
Henry Crocombe hasn't.
Oh no! Well, fingers crossed from a Sussex point of view. He's got a quarter-final coming where he can sort of pick it up from there. But it's a spectacular dismissal. And Dan Lawrence, well, he's got to go for it from ball one, but missed it. Middle stump out the ground. Crowd into this now. Stumps flying out the ground always helps. But here is Will Jackson. He's on 99.
Churchy, you commentate on this. It'll be a Surrey player.
Well, it's going to be Nathan McAndrew from the C end.
I think that was a good recovery from Crocombe because he was hit for 6 off the first ball of the over, and someone like Curran could be very destructive. So to come back with a couple of wickets, it was an over that still cost 9 runs, but a good response from young Henry Crocombe. I think he's bowled well tonight.
So Jack's on 99. McAndrew is over the wicket to him. It's a short ball, and he brings up his 100 by pulling this out towards deep mid-wicket. You can see what it means to him. It's been a highly intelligent innings this from Will Jacks. He's in the most wonderful form. It's 100 off 58 deliveries on a pitch that is not easy to bat on, and he's doing the old Travis Head here. He's put his helmet on his bat and then raised his bat into the air, which is what Mr. Head does. So, but what an innings from Will Jacks. 100 from 58 deliveries, and Surrey are 182 for 4.
And nice to see some of the Sussex lads applauding as well. Brad Curry down below us. It's been a fine 100 and getting its due applause from a packed house at Hove. Nathan McAndrew is going to come in to bowl to the new man, who's Tom Curran. He's in and bowls, and Curran pulls onto the leg side. Is he going to get? No, he's not going to get caught. He's pulled that all the way down to fine leg for 4 runs. Too short from McAndrew. Curran very quickly just swing that one away down to fine leg. Nathan McAndrew looks annoyed with himself. Total goes to 186 for 4 with 10 balls remaining.
He's been in very good nick with the bat. 219 runs. That massive partnership alongside Dan Lawrence in that run chase against Glamorgan. So yeah, Surrey will be posting something north of 200 here. It's going to be a tough chase, I think, this for Sussex.
Comes McAndrew, bowls to Curran, who hammers that one away through the offside. That's 4 more. Well, that was a bit too much width outside the off stump on this occasion, and Tom Curran, who just walked to the wicket, has smashed a couple of boundaries straight away. He goes to 8. And Curran, who made runs in that excellent partnership with Dan Lawrence last week at the Oval, where Surrey beat Glamorgan. Surrey now 190 for 4 with 9 balls remaining.
Yeah, finished 49 not out in that partnership with Dan Lawrence. But he's in nick. First 2 balls a whistle to the boundary rope.
McAndrew again bowls right up in the block hole and dug out by Curran. Good bit of bowling by Nathan McAndrew. Just a single. Total goes to 191 for 4.
Yeah, that was a good bit of bowling by McAndrew. Amazing, isn't it? When stumps go flying, the crowd love it, don't they? And there's a real buzz about the place now. It's
Sussex chase this down, they would have earned their place in the quarter-final, no question about that. McAndrew is in again, bowls to Curran, who is going to be caught by John Simpson. It's off a thick outside edge. In fact, it's Will Jacks who's caught, and he's on his way. Jacks eventually goes, caught by John Simpson, a real skyer, but Simpson took the catch. And the innings of Will Jacks is over for exactly 100. Simpson taking the catch. And I'm sure he's going to get a terrific round of applause, and we'll listen to the applause as Will Jacks makes his way off, because that is a tremendous 100. There he goes. Yeah, standing ovation from some of the crowd at the far end of the ground. Holds his bat up as Will Jacks. There we are, listen to the applause. Great thing about cricket supporters is they're very fulsome in their praise.
Well, they know their cricket as well down here, and as I say, that has been a hugely intelligent innings from Will Jacks in terms of T20 cricket.
In comes McAndrew to bowl to the new man, who's Jamie Overton, who clips it onto the onside. They've taken one, they won't take on Tom Clark for the same. In fact, unusually for Clark, it's a slightly wayward throw, but his reputation preceded him. It's the end of Nathan McAndrew's spell, and Surrey are 192 for 5. Overton on 1, Curran is on 9. Nathan McAndrew has bowled his 4 overs, has taken 2 for 42. 1 over remaining. It looks like the skipper's going to take responsibility through the final over. Mark Church.
Well, they've got a chance to keep it under 200 here. Jamie Overton has only just got there. Now, of course, he's an extremely strong individual, is Jamie Overton. So he could almost muscle it over the boundary rope. But it's going to be Tamar Mills to bowl the final over. 192 for 5. Surrey. And here comes Tamar Mills. Left arm around the wicket to the huge figure of Jamie Overton, who's muscled this one into the leg side, but it'll just be a single out there towards deep backward square. Always cross. Jamie Overton has just whacked his bat on his pad down there at the non-striker's end, gets Tom Curran back onto strike, but look, we've all seen Will Jacks from ball ones put balls out the ground and make hundreds, but he worked it all out tonight. And you could see what it meant to him when he got to the 100 as well.
It was a big moment, wasn't it?
Yep. As Tamar Mills, left arm around the wicket to Tom Curran, and Curran, one-handed, slots this. One bounce, no, brilliant fielding on the boundary rope. Knocked back inside the rope, otherwise that was away for 4. The umps are having a chat about it, but I think they've done really well on that boundary rope, and it's just a single for Tom Curran. He moves on to 10. And 194 for 5, Surrey.
Yeah, a combination of Coles and sure who else is out on that leg side boundary, but yeah, Sussex could keep. I know 200 just in your mind makes you think it's 10 and over.
Well, as I said, they could keep it under 200 now. As Tamar Mills, left arm around the wicket he comes, and Jamie Overton gets a short one. He's looking to pull this. Not quite sure what that's hit. It drops straight down in front of him. So it's just a single. There's going to be a bit of bat in that, because there's no signal of, well, it would have been leg buys if it hit the crash helmet, so there was a bit of bat in it. So it's just singles so far. Good bowling from Tamar Mills. Tom Curran coming back onto strike on 10. Surrey 195 for 5. That'd be worth a lot more on a different type of pitch. But it's been hard work tonight. So just again, look how precise they're being with the field. Just moving long on a little squarer. Very straight long on was for a moment there, as Tamar Mills, left arm around the wicket he comes to Tom Curran, and Curran gets a short ball, waits for it because it just stuck in the pitch, one-handed, pulls it behind square on the leg side, just another single. Good over this from the captain. 196 for 5, Surrey.
Saved himself until the last, did he, Tamar Mills?
Well, he's done this throughout his career, bowling that horrible last over. Always puts his hand up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So far, just 4 off the over from Tamar Mills. Down the slope he comes once again. Left arm around the wicket to Jamie Overton. Overton, he gets a ball down the leg side. This will be wide signal. Got nothing on it. Simpson takes that moving to his left. So there are still 2 balls to go. 175. I tell you what, that was a good catch from John Simpson. That went a long way out, and it was swirling around a bit. Now I know he's got the gloves on, but still had to steady himself and judge it. But Will Jacks 100 exactly. Earlier on, Brian Patel with 30, Jason Roy with 35. Someone's just told a very good joke in one of the corporate boxes there. In around the wicket comes Tamal Mills, and swinging down the ground is Jamie Overton. He'll just get a single here. Down towards long on. So they might well keep Surrey under the 200 now. Single here would mean it was exactly 200 required for victory, which would make our lives a lot easier.
Yes, it would.
Because even I can work out, as you said earlier in the over, that would be 10 and over. Tom Curran will be on strike for this final delivery of this Surrey innings after winning the toss and batting first. 198 for 5. So Tom Mills, that little skip is always at the top of his run up then. Around the wicket he comes to Tom Curran, who's gone up and over and down towards long on, and 6. Because Crocombe hung in the air for a second. I thought he'd pulled an absolute worldie off, but actually went straight over his head and into the tables. So what a shot that is from Tom Curran off the last ball. 6 from Tom Curran's bat. It takes Surrey over that 200, and it means, Adrian Harms, that Surrey have finished 204 for 5. So it will be 205 for Sussex to win. And I don't think that's going to be a straightforward run chase tonight for Sussex.
No, I don't. So the players make their way off the field for the changeover. Surrey players come out the dugout. They'll start their warm-up routine. So just to run through the card, would you want to run through the Surrey card, Church? You just
yes, I can. While we can remember what's happening. So Ryan Patel was the first to go. Paul McAndrew bowled Coles for 30. Then Jason Roy caught Clark bowled McAndrew for 35. Sam Curran was bowled by Crocombe for 14. Dan Lawrence was then bowled first ball by Crocombe without scoring, and then Will Jackson, his magnificent 100, was caught by Simpson off the bowling of McAndrew for exactly 100. But it was a wonderful innings, and I think it was such a good innings because it was so intelligent. He worked out the pace of everything after Sussex got it wrong in the first 6 overs and then got it right, and he took his time with Jason Roy and then got to the 100, which meant an awful lot to him. Tom Curran finished 17 not out. Jamie Overton finished 4 not out. So Surrey 204 for 5. Scott Curry none for 34 off his 3. McAndrew 2 for 42 off his 4. Tamal Mills none for 43 off his 4. Crocombe probably the pick of the bowlers.
Yes,
really.
I would agree.
2 for 37 off 4. Coles 1 for 28 off 3, and Danny Lamb none for 18 off 2. So 204 for 5, Surrey 205 for Sussex to win.
Churchy, thanks very much indeed. If you're just joining us, live cricket here on the BBC, BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Surrey, BBC London. You may be watching via the live stream or listening via Sports Extra 3, just to bring you right up to date with the other scores in the Southern Group. For those of you who haven't been following the competition, Sussex, a win here for Sussex means they fill the one remaining berth available for qualification in the South Group. However, were they to lose, then others do have a chance to get through, notably Kent, who are playing Canterbury down at Kent are playing Essex down at Canterbury. Essex 172 for 6 in their 20 overs. So Kent will feel they've got a chance of chasing that down. The other side who've got a chance to go through are Glamorgan. Were Sussex to lose, were Kent to lose, then Glamorgan could go through, and they've made 184 for 9 down at Cardiff against Middlesex. So both of those sides very much in with a shout in the current round of matches. In the Northern Group, the Bears 233 for 5 against the Derbyshire Falcons, Northampton Steelbacks 203 for 5 in their 20 overs away at Durham. Leicestershire Foxes made 185 against Yorkshire, who have started their innings there 0 for 0. And the Lancashire Lightning, who have been in great form and have actually topped the Northern Group, have been bowled out for 126 by the Nottinghamshire Outlaws at Trent Bridge. So that's your cricket scores. We'll bring you up to date with all the other sporting stories in a moment here, but the time coming up to 8 o'clock here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey. Hi Tim. That's okay. That's all right. Would you like to do it? I don't. God, I'll just do it with you. So welcome back to Hove, where the lights are on and the Surrey players are doing their warm-ups out on the outfield. If you're just joining us, Surrey winning the toss here, batting first, have made 204 for 5. A wonderful exhibition by Will Jacks, who made exactly 100 not out for Surrey. So Sussex needing 205 to win, a win that would secure them a place in the quarter-finals of the Blast. At the Open Golf Championship over in Northern Ireland, two joint leaders. England's Matt Fitzpatrick, who's 9 under par, alongside Scottish Scheffler, who's 9 under par. He's still on the course with 2 holes to play. Earlier on, the Masters champion Rory McIlroy posted a 69 to leave him 6 off the lead at 4 under par. He disappointed fans in 2019 when the major was last held over in Northern Ireland, where he failed to make the cut in that competition. But he's been speaking after play day, after his round today, to Andy Stevenson. Sorry, Tim. How long you got? Okay. Okay, let's play the trail. Shall I? If you come back and how long's the trail, Tim? Okay. How long? Okay, I'll backhand this, and then I'll say the trail as well. And by then, they may be almost coming out, and Church and I can natter. So there we are, that's Rory McIlroy after his round over at Portrush in the Open Championship today. Of course, that all carries on tomorrow, full coverage across the BBC. If you want to keep track of it, over on 5 Live for pretty much the majority of the weekend, and it sounds like it's all building up to be a tremendous finish on Sunday afternoon over in the British Open at Portrush. Here at Hove with the floodlights on. Just to remind you, Surrey making 204 for 5. Wonderful innings by Will Jacks, finishing 100 not out, 100 before he was dismissed, 35 from Jason Roy, 30 from Ryan Patel. So they're in an excellent position here, Surrey. Sussex need to chase this down to have any chance at all of qualifying for the quarterfinals. It should be an exciting next hour or so under the floodlights at Hove with a packed house, and we'll keep you right across it here on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio London, BBC Radio Surrey. Jacks's 100. Yeah, yeah. Why don't you just play it, Tim? Okay. But you're keeping my unit, fantastic.
Yeah, that was something spectacular from Will Jacks. It was such an intelligent innings from him. That was the key thing. Worked out the pace of the pitch, took his time, knocked it around, and then went big at the end. So, yeah, he's certainly put Surrey in a good position here. I don't think this will be a straightforward run chase for Sussex. It'll be fascinating to see how they go about it. Well, I don't think Sussex can afford to go too hard up top. If they lost 3 wickets in the power play, then it's going to be tough. It really is. I think they've got to do what Surrey did and take a little bit of time just to get used to everything. Maybe Tamar Mills knows this place better than anybody, and he said, yeah, we're quite happy chasing because with the floodlights on and possibly a bit of dew about, then the pitch might speed up, which will make batting easier. But I think you have to say Sussex got it wrong in that power play in the first 6 overs, then got it right. But what was so intelligent was the way that Roy and Jacks worked it all out, knocked the ball around, and then Will Jacks, well, as I say, you could see what it meant to him when he got to that 100. So this will be a fascinating run chase for Sussex.
I would say that I've said this throughout he hasn't quite had the competition he'd hoped for. Daniel Hughes is a very fine player at the Australian, but he's got himself to 20s and 30s. When he's got out, things have perhaps not gone well for Sussex. Now, last night he got out, and actually James Coles and Tom Alsop batted beautifully. But you always feel there's a big innings in Daniel Hughes. He's key for Sussex tonight. And we'll have to see how he goes.
He's a big, strong boy as well.
He is,
and he might need that tonight.
And it's a big occasion. It's it's do or die for Sussex here, isn't it? If they could still go through, of course, if Glamorgan and Kent both lose, but they can't rely on that.
May I just say what an honour that was to meet Mr. Archer Senior.
Yes. So that was
lovely.
Patrick, who's Jofra Archer's stepdad, came in.
I hope he didn't mind me saying it's a joy to see your boy back, but please have a word with England not to overbowl him.
Yes.
That's what I.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Please don't break him. Please don't break him.
Yeah, it was lovely to see him, and he's over here to presumably watch Jofra at Old Trafford, I would imagine. Anyway. Take us away, Churchy.
Reece Topley here will be to bowl the first over from the C end, and immediately he's on a length to Hughes with all the pace off it. Hughes is looking for the big booming drive through the offside, gets an inside edge onto his front pad, and it rolls back up the pitch, and there is no run. Just a reminder, Surrey playing the extra spinner tonight rather than the extra batter, because they've looked at this pitch. So Yusuf Majid, the left arm spinner, has come into the side for Surrey as Topley comes left arm over the wicket to Hughes, and Hughes lets this one go wide outside his off stump. It goes wider outside the off stump. It's taken by Dan Lawrence, and that is the first run signalled wide, and Sussex are up and running, 1 without loss.
Sussex have persisted with young George Thomas, who's come in for the side for the last 3 games. Harrison Wood hasn't quite had the tournament he would have hoped for, just 1 half century. So this is a relatively new opening partnership for Sussex.
Over the wicket goes Topley to Hughes. He's had a flash outside the off stump, beats the outside edge. They got the slip in there. That's Will Jacks in there. Slip. Hughes chewing his gum, still mustachioed, which I'm delighted about. Is Mr. Hughes. It's coming back into fashion, Adrian Harms, I tell you.
What, moustaches?
The mustachio.
I can see.
Yes, everybody laughed at me when I grew mine, but now I think you're seeing that more and more are sprouting. It might be the hot weather. As turning once again is Topley, left arm over the wicket he comes. Hughes drives, gorgeous shot. Proper cricket shot that from Hughes, down on one knee, driving through the covers and away for his first boundary. And Sussex's first boundary. They are 5 without loss in the first, needing 205 for victory and to book themselves a place in the quarterfinals of the T20.
Just keep you abreast of the scores in the other games. Glamorgan made 184 for 9, Middlesex 2 for 1 at the end of the first over. Kent 26 without loss in the third over. In reply to Essex's 172.
As left arm over the wicket goes Topley. Hughes drive, stick outside edge. That flies past Will Jacks at first slip and whistles off down to the third man boundary rope for 4. So he won't mind how they come, Hughes. And that's flown off, flashed off down to the third man boundary rope for 4. The other important thing here is that they get the crowd into this.
Yes.
Sussex. And with a couple of boundaries in that first over, it just gets the crowd ticking a touch. Hughes goes for a wander towards square leg. Settles himself down over his bat once more. Over the wicket goes Topley to Hughes. Oh, there's another flash outside the off stump.
Another wide.
Wide signalled again. So, one more to the total. Almost took himself off his feet trying to hit that.
He did.
So, Topley comes wandering back towards us. But, that's a bit harsh. It's inside the tram lines and it's swung. Well, it nicked off the pitch. So, there we go. It's given. 10 without loss as in goes Topley once again to Hughes. That's a beauty. That beats Hughes all ends up from Reece Topley. And taken by Dan Lawrence, moving away to his left hand side. That's a genuine delivery. That's climbed as well on Hughes. Good bit of bowling that from Reece Topley. So final ball of the over. Chris Jordan stood up there at mid-off. As I say, knows this place extremely well, of course, does Mr. Jordan. As Topley, last ball of the first, into Hughes, short, pulled by Hughes off his hip, out towards deep backward square. Jamie Overton's out there. He's got a very strong arm, gets the ball in the air quickly, but it's a good first over for Sussex. Surrey's first over, 9 off the bat. For Sussex, 11. So Sussex 11 without loss, needing 205 for victory.
I once interviewed Chris Jordan in the bath here at Hove. There was a little.
Were you in the bath with him?
No, I wasn't. No. I asked to interview Chris and
Yes.
his coaches, and Chris said, "Well, come and interview me." So I did. So it was, it was a great favourite down here, Chris, and very much part of that Sussex side that got to the final in 2018 and lost to Worcestershire. But wonderful. I saw him make his maiden 100 for Sussex at Colchester.
Yeah.
In fact, it was his maiden 100. I presume he's got other hundreds, but it wasn't. It was his maiden first class 100.
Well, it shows how old I am. I remember his first class debut for Surrey.
In comes Jordan Clark, bowls to Daniel Hughes, who plays this through the offside and picks up a single. They're going to come back for the second, then he's going to move on here. The throw comes in, and they come back for a second. Good running by Hughes, who goes to 11. The Sharks to 13 without loss.
Yeah, 2007 Canterbury was his first class debut for Surrey. And I remember us all sitting there and he bowled his first ball and we all sat up. Great story that Bill Athy, of course, spotted him on a school tour to Barbados with Dulwich College and said, we've got to get this kid to Dulwich. And that was where it all started.
Clark in, bowls to Hughes. Hughes smashes that one away. Down to that's going to be that 4. That's another very good bit of fielding. They're going to come back. Well, they think about a second. That's very good indeed. Who's that down there? Is that Overton?
Jamie Overton again. Long legs, long arms from Jamie Overton. So it gets in there quickly, and then with those long arms, he gets his hands to it a bit quicker as well.
It almost looked like it was a boundary. He was sliding. He's just pulling up his trousers.
As usual, he's held together by sticky tape.
Yes,
Jamie Overton.
He's got a big bandage on his right leg. As Overton.
He's still recovering from that bust finger from in the first one-day international.
Jordan Clark running in towards us to bowl to the right-handed George Thomas. Hasn't faced a ball yet. Comes in and bowls down the leg side, and that'll be signalled as a wide. So that's the third wide of the innings so far, which will be gratefully received by Sussex. If you just joined us, a very good evening. Welcome to Live Cricket on BBC Sussex and Surrey. Also on BBC London, on Sports Extra 3. Maybe watching via the Sussex live stream. Lights are on, full house. Sussex needing 205 to win and secure a place in the T20 Plus quarter-finals. Clark is in, bowls to Thomas, beats Thomas, not taken cleanly by keeper Dan Lawrence, who then looks at his finger ruefully. Dan Lawrence, who
Not another one behind the stumps.
Well, he scored a very good 100 here in the county championship, did Lawrence. But rather missed out tonight when the thrash was on. He was bowled by Henry Crocombe. Second wicket, Henry Crocombe. Bowled really well tonight, 2 for 37. Will Jack's making 100 for Surrey as Jordan Clark is in again from the Cromwell Road end. Bowls and Thomas plays firmly to mid-on. There is no run. It's another dot ball, so just 4 off the over so far.
When you interviewed Chris Jordan in the bath, was
Yes.
there a bubble bath or was it just Chris Jordan in the bath?
Well, they call it the pool. It's sort of more of a pool.
Ah,
So it's
yes,
like
I
a
know the one
warm
you
down
mean.
pool. And so Chris was sort of leaning.
So he wasn't laying down in a bath.
No, he was leaning over the edge.
Yes, well, that's good because that's probably easier to interview,
Yes.
isn't it? Yes.
He was always terrific to speak to, Chris Jordan. In comes Clark, bowls, Thomas drives down the ground only as far as Chris Jordan, who's in very quickly, gets a good throw in, and there is no run, so 3 dot balls.
I interviewed Jeff Chappell, who was the manager of Kingstonian, in the shower a couple of times.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Was he fully...
Well, no, he once no, other time towel.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
it was early in my career. I wasn't expecting it.
Clark from the Cromwell Road end, light blazing, comes running in, bowls to Thomas, and Thomas clips that one. That's a good shot. Helps that one away for 4 runs. He was under a bit of pressure there, George Thomas, because he'd faced 3 deliveries, which were all dot balls. The last one was erring down the leg side, and Thomas clipped it away down to fine leg. So good end to the over as far as Sussex are concerned. Nice shot by George Thomas to get him underway. Sussex go to 19 without loss at the end of the second over, and would you believe that was exactly the score that Surrey were at the end of their second over.
Yep, and that's the key point. They mustn't get too caught up in all this, Sussex. Just got to keep wickets intact. That will be a really important thing, is keeping the wickets intact. As Topley then, left arm over the wicket he comes to Hughes, start of the third over, and the left-handed Hughes is taking this off the stumps. Whips it out towards deep backward square. Jamie Overton's come up to do the fielding. They'll pick up a single, 20 without loss. Hughes 13. Thomas comes back onto strike on 4. So yeah, 205 the target. Surrey 204 for 5 off their 20. The trumpeter at it again, getting the crowd going as Topley comes striding in, left arm over the wicket to Thomas. The right-handed Thomas gets a slow ball on his pads and can only work it straight back up the pitch, and there's no run. Because it's quite de rigueur in American sport, isn't it? That you often see sort of the American footballers and the baseballers being interviewed in their towels in the dressing room. But it's not something we do particularly often, sort of wander into the dressing room and interview a player in the bath. As Thomas, another slower ball from Reece Topley, and that hits the toe end of the bat once again as Thomas is looking to drive that one straight down the ground. Topley does the fielding off his own bowling, and there's no run.
I interviewed Steve McGoffin, former Sussex bowler,
yes.
on an occasion when Mark Robinson was the coach of Sussex, and I said, can I interview Steve McGoffin? And he said, yeah, go into the dressing room. And Steve was having some treatment on his knee. He was having some horrible gunk pumped out of his knee, and so went and chatted to Steve McGoffin, who was such a fine player for Sussex.
That's no fun. As in over the wicket goes Topley to Thomas. Again, he's looking to drive, doesn't time it. Topley's taking all the pace off this, and that potters up towards Chris Jordan at mid-on, and there's no run.
And again, he's just under a little bit of pressure here, George, isn't he? Because he'll know that he's faced 3 deliveries. And Daniel Hughes, that's why Daniel Hughes is so important for Sussex. You know, the wise head. I'm just going down having a quick word with George Thomas. He's probably thinking, I need to...
He's probably saying, just get a single and get me back on strike. That's all he really needs to do at the moment, Thomas. As he waits again, as Topley's into him. Thomas forward, can't find a single as he pushes this one out to Jamie Overton on the edge of the circle. Just to say, back at the Kia Oval, so Surrey women batting first against the Bears. Just to say, Surrey, of course, are already in the final of the women's competition, having won... finished top of the group, 204 for 5.
Wow.
Surrey, yep. And Kira Chatley 65, Grace Harris 37, Alice Monaghan 24, Paige Schofield 15, and the Bears in the third over are 13 for 1. As in over the wicket goes Topley. Shout for LBW. Must be tight and not given. And there's no signal from the umpire, so a bit of bat on that from Thomas. But it can't be often that the women's team have scored exactly the same as the men's team. So Surrey 204 for 5, the Surrey women 204 for 5. End of the over, good over from Reece Topley, just 2 off it, 3 gone. And Sussex 21 without loss.
We should just say, Churchy, well done to Surrey women. They're into the final, which is being played. That's the Tier 1 competition.
Tier 1
being played at the Oval
on Sunday the 27th. And then the Tier 2 is the day before at Wantage Road.
At Northampton,
Yes,
and that's
indeed.
where Sussex women didn't qualify, but they had a very good win yesterday down at Gloucestershire. So we've got a change in bowling from the Cromwell Road end. And Thomas hammers a short ball out through mid-off and picks up a single. Will Jacks into the attack. They picked up 2. They're going to turn for a third. Well, they turned for a third, but it isn't there. So 2 to George Thomas, and welcome relief. He goes to 7, so some spin from the Cromwell Road end, and it's the tall figure of Will Jacks. He's already got 100 to his name. This is the 4th over of the Sussex reply, needing 205 to win.
I think he's just going to stick this in the pitch.
The required run rate for Sussex is 10.8 and over. Jacks in bowls to Thomas, who hits this one firmly. That's going to be 4 runs, nothing wrong with that. Drills the ball away through extra cover and mid-off for 4 runs. A good start for George Thomas, who looks more comfortable against the spin rather than the pace of Topley and Jordan Clark.
Well, as I say, he's going to just stick this in the pitch. He gave that one a little bit of flight. And Thomas, that's what he was waiting for. Smashed it through extra cover for 4.
Jacks again. Bowls, and Thomas is bowled, looking to cut that one away through backward point. And George Thomas is gone. The first wicket goes down. The change of bowling works for Surrey. And George Thomas is gone. And Sussex, in terms of opening partnerships in this season's competition, hasn't quite worked out. Daniel Hughes, did that turn?
Not off.
Just see it.
That started outside the off stump,
Yes, it
hit the
did.
leg stump.
Yeah.
So that he's given that one a rip. Thomas has seen it, gone back to cut, and it has spun back and just hit the top of the leg stump. That's why I think this will be tough for Sussex. You see a ball turn like that, if you will, Jacks, and you think, thanks ever so much.
So the first wicket in this Sussex reply goes down, and it's the wicket of George Thomas, who's bowled by Will Jacks for 11 with the score 127. If you're just joining us, Sussex needing 205 to win after Surrey made 204 for 5. Will Jacks making exactly 100 not out. Coming to the crease now is another left-hander. Well, George Thomas is a right-hander, but a left-hander to join a left-hander. It's Tom Clark who's taking guard. As Jacks is in from the Cromwell Road in bowls to Clark, who works this into the covers, fielded there by the big figure of Clark, and there is no run.
Clever bit of bowling from Will Jacks. In a way, I said he's going to sit this in the pitch. Then he tosses one up, driven through extra cover for 4. Then just goes a little bit shorter, but spins it.
Jacks again, bowls to Clark, who again plays it into the covers, fielded by Clark on his knees. And there is no run. Clark to Clark.
And Thomas lays back, and it spins sharply and hits the leg stump.
Jacks again, bowls down the leg side, clipped by Clark, but only a single, fielded athletically by I was going to say Don Topley, but it's not Don Topley, it's Reece Topley. I don't think Don Topley, with all respect to Don, I was commentating with him last week, but I don't think he would have been
that
quite
would have been full had it been Don Topley.
Yes. And I don't think he would mind us saying end of the over, end of the 4th, good over as far as Surrey are concerned. The Sharks are 28 for 1 at the end of the 4th over. At the end of the 4th over, Surrey were 47 without loss, and we can see on the big screen a glorious sunset around Hove this evening.
Yep. So it's Jordan Clark from the C end of the ground. Now, he was wearing a bandana a couple of weeks ago. He's gone back to the Alice band now for his long hair, has Jordan Clark. And he was about to bowl the first ball of this 5th over, but I don't think young Mr. Clark was ready. He is now, so it's Jordan Clark. We've got 2 Clarks going head to head here. Jordan Clark is in, and Sussex Clark will get a single here, as Tom Clark just gets a little edge on that, looking to work it leg side. They pick up one, and Hughes will come on to strike on 13. So, yeah, quite a bit on Daniel Hughes' shoulders this evening. Required rate at the moment, 11.12 is the required rate at the moment. As Jordan Clark will come over the wicket to the left-handed Hughes on 13. Clark is in, and Hughes drives down the ground. Chris Jordan comes round to his left to do the fielding, and they will pick up a single. So Hughes moves on to 14. Tom Clark comes back on to strike. It's a nightmare when you have a bowler with the surname the same as the batter.
Indeed.
Jordan Clark and Tom Clark. So Tom Clark settles himself over his bat as Jordan Clark comes around the wicket to him, and he's driving thick inside edge, potters into the leg side. We'll get a single here as Sam Curran comes round to his left to do the fielding.
Just keeping an eye on other matches, Churchy, and I think that Sussex know they're going to have to win this game, because down at Cardiff, Glamorgan made 184 for 9 in reply. Middlesex are 32 for 3 in the 5th. And down at Canterbury, Kent 60 for 1 in the 7th, Essex 172 for 6.
As Jordan Clark is in, right up on the toes of Daniel Hughes, can't get that away. Good bowling from Jordan Clark. And again, just politely, that ball rolls up to Sam Curran at mid-on, and there's no run.
There was an equation whereby that if both Glamorgan and Kent lost and Sussex lost as well, that Sussex would go through. But I think you can never tell in T20 cricket. But I think Sussex will know they've got to win this game.
Yeah, I think it probably makes it simpler, doesn't it?
Yep.
Here is Jordan Clark.
Shot.
That's a lovely shot from Hughes. Again, it's an authentic cricket shot. He's just driven this through extra cover for 4. Hasn't tried to overhit it. And it goes down the slope and over the boundary rope and away for 4 runs. But I just said that there's a bit on Daniel Hughes' very broad shoulders here. He's on 18.
He's key.
35 for 1.
And there are others. I mean, James Coles and Tom also batted beautifully last night, but a big score from Daniel Hughes. Just what the doctor ordered for Sussex.
It's just waiting for Jason Roy to get to the edge of the circle. So Jason Roy's backpedaling at the moment, just to the edge of the circle. Jordan Clark over the wicket he comes to Daniel Hughes, goes outside his off stump. Clark follows him, gets bat on it. Clark gets a fingertip on it. It ricochets away to Chris Jordan. They'll take the single. End of the over. 5 gone now. It's not a bad over that from Jordan Clark. 36 for 1. And again, I'll go back that Sussex did not get it right in the power play. Surrey 65 in the power play, so they're going to have a big old over here to be up with where Surrey were after 6. After the 6 they got it right.
Interesting when you talk to, and I'm sure it's the same around, you talk to two people around the Sussex camp, and the thing is, once you get to 12 and over, once you get to 2 a ball, it's really, really tough. When it's just over 11 and over at the moment, Will Jacks is going to carry on from the Cromwell Road end, bowling to Daniel Hughes, who places firmly through the offside. Lovely shot by Hughes. As beautiful, 2 lovely cricket shots played by Daniel Hughes. The first, the cover drive for 4 runs, and on this occasion onto the back foot and just easing the ball through the covers. Now, has the Surrey fielder hurt himself there, Churchy?
Jason Roy.
I think he's
always got a hobble on.
Well, he's got a hobble on, and he's kicking away at the ground.
He's not happy at the moment, Jason. I think he's scuffed his knee there. So he's got a bit of a hobble on. He'll be all right.
So, boundary off the first ball of the over. Hughes goes to 23. In comes Jacks, bowls. Hughes plays this to mid-on. There is no run fielded there by Curran, who gets in the throw. It is a dot ball. Daniel Hughes surveys that leg side boundary and takes guard. 40 for 1. As in comes Jacks, bowls. Hughes is forward, back to Jackson fields of his own bowling. There is no run. Floodlights on, sun going down, big crowd. It's what T20 nights are all about.
No, it is, and it's not rocket science. It's Friday.
Yep.
Which isn't the new Saturday, because I've been told Thursday's the new... I'm so confused. Thursday's the new Friday, Adrian.
Jacks in, bowls to Hughes, who clips that one through a mid-wicket gap and picks up a single to the fielder who comes in from that boundary. It's Jamie Overton who's fielding on the deep mid-wicket boundary. One more to the total, 41 for 1 are the Sharks. Hughes goes to 24 off 17.
Yeah, Thursday's the new Friday.
Is that right?
Thursday's the new Friday, especially in London apparently.
In comes Jacks again, bowls, clipped away by Clark into the covers. A couple of Sussex Surrey fielders converge on that. In the end, it's Ryan Patel who fields the ball.
It is indeed.
Got round quickly, but it's a single to Tom Clark. 6 off the over. Sussex could do with a boundary here. 42 for 1. 1 ball left in the power play. Jacks is in again. Bowls, and forward comes Hughes and punches that through the offside. They won't take 2 to Chris Jordan, who has lost none of his speed. He's like a hare, isn't he, Chris Jordan, racing in from the boundary. Throw over the top of the stump. 7 runs off of the over. I think in the final over of the power play, Surrey would have settled for that. So at the end of the power play, Sussex are 43 for 1. The man out, George Thomas, for 11. To compare that to Surrey at the end of the power play, there was 64 without loss. So Surrey certainly ahead on points at the moment.
It's a good comparison, that. And we're looking at the worm at the moment, and that Sussex blue line is way under the Surrey line at the moment with the worm. So here is Chris Jordan into the attack. Now Surrey can get 5 outside the circle now as well. You mentioning the Sussex Sharks there. Have you seen this on the other channel? There is celebrity shark swimming of a Monday evening. It's one of the strangest programmes I've ever seen. Yes, because they've all got a fear of sharks. I don't blame them. So they've been paid enough money to get in with sharks. As in over the wicket comes Chris Jordan then, and his first delivery is driven by Daniel Hughes up towards mid-off. There is Sam Curran to do the fielding, and there's no run, including Selene Henry. Yeah, I don't think I'd be getting in with a shark.
No, I don't think. I have swum with sharks actually.
Have you really?
Yes, I did.
Did you mean to?
Yes, it was. It was a tank. There were sharks in there. I don't know whether they would have done anything. I suspect not, because I survived.
Is that the aquarium here?
No,
they've really upped their game down there, haven't they? There used to be dolphins down there. That's a real afternoon out now. As in over the wicket comes Chris Jordan, and this is cut by Hughes firmly. Will Jacks is not going to get to that. That's over the boundary rope and away for 4. Hughes moves on to 29. Yeah, he absolutely crunched that. I remember, I was saying this the other day actually, I remember, it shows again how old I am, but I was picked, you wouldn't be allowed to do this now, but they used to put a little dinghy on a shark, and I was picked to be picked from the crowd to sit in the little dinghy and go round the tank with the dolphin. I've never cried so much in my life. I absolutely hated it. As waiting once again is Hughes. In over the wicket comes Chris Jordan. Short ball. Hughes pulls off his hip. That's away for 4 more.
Well, this is good from Daniel Hughes, and you know he's due a big innings in this competition. I spoke to him the other week, and he said he felt he hadn't quite scored the volume of runs that he'd expected to this season, and there's never a better night for him to do it. Brings up the Sussex 50.
Big match players.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Crowd in, under lights, something on it. 51 for 1. It's amazing how many times when there's a full house back in South London and the lights are on, that your big players, they really come to the party. They love it. As Chris Jordan is in over the wicket, and Hughes has gone again off his hip.
That's gone for 6.
Has it gone all the way? No, 1 bounce and into the dugout for 4. So Chris Jordan not quite got it right yet. That one's on the hip of Hughes with his fine leg on the edge of the circle, and Hughes has really just out that off his hip and away for 4 runs.
Well, we might hear the crowd getting excited here because this is a good over for Sussex.
Yeah, 55 for 1 now. Hughes has moved on to 37 from 22 deliveries. When does he bring Yusuf Majid into the attack? When does he bring himself into the attack, Sam Curran? He's got plenty of options out there. As Hughes waits again. Chris Jordan. From the sea end, it's over the wicket, slower ball, driven down the ground. This will be 4 more. Again, it's an authentic cricket shot from Hughes. So this is a pricey first over from Chris Jordan. He's walking back with a grin on his face, shaking his head, is Chris Jordan, because he knows the angles here better than most, of course. And the crowd are into this now. There's a bit of chanting. 4 consecutive boundaries. Hughes has suddenly moved on to 41. 59 for 1. Catching up by Sussex.
Yeah, absolutely. Big over.
sort of the other way round. This Surrey's power play was excellent, and then Sussex got it right. Now they're out the power play and they're beginning to tick. That's what Al Mills said, didn't he? Under the lights, it might speed up a bit. As in over the wicket comes Chris Jordan to Hughes, and Hughes works the last ball of the over straight down the ground to Jason Roy. That's a good over from a Sussex point of view. 17 off it, 60 for 1. So 7 overs gone, 13 left. So it's 145 required off 30. Duckworth Lewis is always a good indicator, and they'd need to be on 70 at the end of this over, I think it said on the board. So they're there or thereabouts now after that. Amazing what one over can do.
No, totally. Well, at the same stage, Surrey was 69 for 1, so not far away, as Churchy says. It could all be building up to a terrific end to this match. Daniel Hughes has got the strike as well. He's going to be facing Will Jacks, who's going to carry on from the Cromwell Road end of the ground. As in comes Jacks to bowl to Daniel Hughes. Hughes is forward and clips it onto the onside and picks up a single. Hughes goes to 43 off 25 deliveries. The Sharks to 61 for 1 here on BBC Radio Sussex and Surrey. BBC London, Sports Extra 3, lights on, packed house. Surrey making 204 for 5. Will Jacks with 100. Sussex knowing they need to win. In comes Jacks. Bowls Clark with a huge swing and a miss.
Turned again.
Missing out. The ball goes through to keeper Lawrence, who whips off the bails. There is no run. Sussex need to score here 11.4 and over. They're currently going at 8.3 and over.
Well, that's why you often see the off spinner at the left-hander, because of course if he goes sweeping and it turns, it's going away from the left-hander, it's spinning away from him, so he's always ending up reaching for it, is Clark. So he's got to pick the right ball to sweep.
I just says wait a moment while the stumps are being adjusted. Here comes Jacks, bowls, Clark pulls that down to long on, picks up a single. Chris Jordan fields cleanly, the crowd with a bit of an
yeah, well they love it, don't they?
They do. Single to Clark, he goes to 4 off 8 deliveries, 62 for 1.
Factors here with the crowd, the boundaries, and it's that time of the night where the consumption of lemonade is beginning to have its say.
Jacks bowls to Hughes. Hughes forces that through the offside. It's just a single though to Overton, who comes in off the cover boundary to field. Good over so far from Jacks, just the 3 runs conceded, and the run rate you can see going up all the time. It's now up to 11.5. Sussex need 9 wickets in hand though. Jacks cut away by Clark. Again, it's just going to be a single, fielded again by Overton on that cover boundary, and the difference just 1 run makes, you can see, it's 11.6 of the runs required per over.
Well, we've got Wasp on as well, which sort of is the predictor, isn't it? Of at the moment, 17% of Sussex winning this.
Jacks in, bowls, Hughes cuts away again. It's another single, so 5 off the over. Good over from Jacks at the end of the over. Sussex are 65 for 1 at the end of the 8th over. At the same token, Surrey were 79 for 1, so not a huge difference. Sussex just slightly in arrears, but Daniel Hughes playing beautifully. 45 off 29, Clark 5 off of 9. The camera shots around the ground showing people just thoroughly enjoying the cricket, the beer, the wine,
yes,
and the fact they're at this lovely cricket ground down on the south coast.
There's an experienced man there, isn't he? He's been to a few T20s, that gentleman we've just seen on the screen. So it's Sam Curran coming left arm over the wicket. His first over from the C end. He's in, and this is punched off the back foot beautifully by Hughes. Again, it's an authentic cricket shot from Hughes. Stood on his toes, waited for it, and then punched it off the back foot. Hit the gap. That's the key thing at the moment. He's hitting gaps. Is Daniel Hughes, and away for 4 it goes. Lovely innings this so far from Daniel Hughes. He's on to 49 from 28 deliveries. He's looking to match Will Jacks. Here's D. Hughes. He waits again as Sam Curran is into him. Short ball pulled by Hughes. Again, it's stuck in the pitch, but that'll be his 50 with the single. So
could be an overthrow.
Job half done at the moment for Daniel Hughes, but he's done this half job very, very nicely so far. 50 from 29 deliveries, 9 fours.
And barely a celebration. He knows the job is only half done. He's an experienced cricketer, Daniel Hughes, and he'll know there's a lot more work to be done yet.
Tom Clark comes back on to strike. Sam Curran bustles in. He's on a length. It's pushed by Tom Clark down the ground, and they will get a single. I've got my alarm clock set for the morning.
Oh, for the Lions?
Yes, I'm getting up at 8. Oh yeah, going to have my breakfast, and then I'm going to start reading my guides to who everybody thinks is going to win, and I'll be sat for 10 o'clock for the build-up. I'm so excited. 71 for 1.
Good cricket there from Clark, just taking the single.
In over the wicket comes Sam Curran to Hughes. Slower ball hits the pads of Daniel Hughes. Just a leg by. This will be one more to the total. 72 for 1.
Lovely buzz around the ground tonight, Churchill.
There is. Well, it was fairly quiet in the first 6 overs, wasn't it? And then, do you know what I think got the crowd moving? Was the Crocombe 2-in-2 with stumps going everywhere. That got the crowd into it. Sam Curran is in over the wicket to Clark, who drives. Will just get a single out there to Will Jacks. So after the boundary, it's come back very nicely in this over. Sam Curran 73 for 1.
And again, you come to this last ball at the over, the important last ball. I mean, Sam Curran, who plays a lot of, plays in the IPL. He'll know the importance here. He won't want to bowl a 4-ball or a 6-ball even.
See how humid it is out there. Players really are sweating. As in over the wicket comes Sam Curran to Hughes, who just throws the bottom hand into this, powers it down the ground towards long on. The red boots of Jason Roy get him round to do the fielding. End of the over, so a boundary off the first ball, and then Sam Curran coming back very nicely. 9 overs gone, 9 off the over, and Sussex here on BBC Surrey, BBC Sussex, BBC London on Sports Extra 3, the BBC Sport website and app, and on the Sussex live stream. Don't think I've forgotten anybody there. 11 overs to go, 74 for 1. Their victory target is 205.
And at the same stage, so 85 for 1. It looks like Kent are going to be Essex down at Canterbury. Kent 118 for 1 in the 12th, chasing 173 to win. Kandamoyeye going on very nicely, 61 not out. Change of bowling. Hughes plays on a rabbit shot. Is he going to be caught? No, he's not. It's Overton, and they're going to come back for the second run. That's a bit sloppy by Jordan Clark.
Well, it spun off the turf in front of him. He did pretty well there, actually, I thought, because you're not really expecting that off your big fast bowler, Jamie Overton. And it was hit by Hughes, and it was like it had come off a leg spinner, and it just spun off the turf. I think Jordan Clark did pretty well there, actually.
In comes Overton, running in down the hill. Bowls to Hughes, who pulls onto the leg side. It's just going to be a single, fielded away to our right-hand side by Tom Curran, who gets in the throw. Single to Hughes, who goes to 54. It's a 50 partnership come up between these two, of which Tom Clark has made 7. But he's played his part. He's made sure Daniel Hughes has had a lot of the strike.
Yeah, it's sensible. I think Hughes, you said Hughes needs to go down and have a chat with him. He said, just get me on strike. Take a single, get me on strike.
Overton powering in down the hill, bowls to Clark, who reaches for that, can only play it to short extra cover, fielded there by Sam Curran, and there is no run, so 3 off the over so far. Required run rate is now over 12. 12.2 and over.
Wasp though has gone to 16%. It was on 11 before. I don't really understand that Wasp thing, if I'm honest with you, but it's fun to have.
It's Topley just fielding down below, getting a chat with some of the spectators. Overton is in, bowls to Clark, right up in the block hole. Overton comes running down and kicks the ball at the stumps.
No.
But misses the stumps.
It's a bit like some of the penalties we saw last night between England and Sweden, that, for Jamie Overton.
Yeah, the ball misses the stumps. Daniel Hughes dropped his bat. He's racing down the wicket for the single.
Oh dear.
78 for 1. 4 balls gone in the over. Good over so far from Overton.
That was all very tense last night, wasn't it?
It was. I didn't see it, but I heard some of the penalties weren't the best, apparently.
Well, I just... it was great drama.
Overton makes his way in from the Cromwell Road end. Bowls to Daniel Hughes. Hughes punches it through the offside. Curran can't field cleanly, and they'll get a single. They'll look for a second, but it isn't there. Jordan Clark is there, gets in the throw, and now there is a misfield by the keeper, and they do come back for the second. So it's like comedy of errors, and the crowd enjoyed that. And Daniel Hughes picks up a second. He goes to 56, and the Sharks to 80 for 1.
We saw that a couple of times during the Surrey innings, didn't we? Sort of the throws come in and hit one of the worn ends of the pitches and has just shot along the floor.
80 for 1 past Sussex. 1 ball to go at the 10th over. Change in the field. A long on has gone out. And now 4 men inside the circle, which there has to be at this stage of proceedings on the offside. In comes Overton. In, down the hole. Bowls to Hughes. Hughes punches this through the offside and picks up another single, does Daniel Hughes. So it's the end of the 10th over. Halfway through the innings, Sussex are 81 for 1. At the same stage, Surrey were 91 for 1. So 10 runs in it, not an awful lot. But Sussex needing to score here at 12 and a half and over. And if they do that against this very strong Surrey side, they would deserve to get themselves into those quarterfinals.
Yeah, absolutely. Hughes doing a Jacks at the moment. Clark's doing a Roy. It's almost identical this innings at the moment. So it's going to be Jordan Clark. Still hasn't gone to Yusuf Majid. Sam Curran, he might not. Won't have to bowl him. So 11th over. 81 for 1. Jordan Clark from the C end is coming around the wicket, and this is just pulled away by Hughes, and that's going to be 4 because it's going to beat the deep backward square Jamie Overton. So he's just waited for it and helped it away for 4 runs. 4 more to the total. This is good stuff actually. Hughes 61 from 36 now, 85 for 1. Taking this by the absolute scruff of the neck at the moment is Daniel Hughes as he waits again. Jordan Clark around the wicket to him. Hughes drives straight down the ground for a single. Up comes Jason Roy from long on to do the fielding. You know, I do love it when it's big match player, full house, under lights, and they're just something. That's why they're some of the best players, is that they switch on at this point. They like all this pressure.
Daniel Hughes is nothing in at the moment.
Clark on 8. As Jordan Clark is into Tom Clark, a slower ball and a swing and a miss from Tom Clark. Doesn't need to be doing that.
No, he doesn't.
Just get back on it and get Daniel Hughes back on strike.
No, I agree, and I think that's probably what Daniel Hughes is, just wandering down the wicket, just probably having a little word to Tom Clark. Just, as I say, there's plenty of gaps on that leg side. Just pick up the single and get Hughes back on strike.
Jordan Clark turns again in front of us. Hair flowing. As around the wicket he goes to Tom Clark. Now he's hit this, drilled it down the ground. Oh, and it's dropped by Sam Curran. Right in front of us, and it's gone for 6. It was at an awkward height, and it was hit very flat. And as Sam Curran came round, it was sort of at shoulder height to him, went straight through his hand. Sam Curran signals 6.
Yes, very sporting. Well done, Sam Curran. Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure he could have got away with that, so he hit the boundary, balls on the full behind him.
But the umpire was saying,
yes,
what is it, 4 or 6? And he said, no, it's a 6.
It's not that far to see that, is it? As around the wicket once again comes Jordan Clark, and this one's turned by Clark, down the ground. Tom Clark will pick up a single. It was at a really awkward height. Sam Curran sprinting round, and it was at shoulder height, and he got both hands up to it, but it just burst through his hands and over the boundary rope for 6. That's the first 6 of the innings. Clark on to 15. Hughes comes back onto strike on 62. It's 112 from here for Sussex. Around the wicket goes Jordan Clark, right up on the toes of Daniel Hughes. They might get 2 here. They will get 2. It's good running, really good running, and 2 more to Daniel Hughes. End of the over. I think Wasp will have gone up a bit now. 11 gone, whatever it means, and it'll be win assumption. I don't know what the rest will be. 11 gone. Sweet Caroline started. That's always a good sign. There we go. And 95 for 1 with 9 overs to go. And it's 110 required off 9 overs.
Well, we could be in for a terrific finish here on BBC Sussex and Surrey, BBC Radio London, and Sports Extra 3 as Jamie Overton comes in down from the Cromwell Road end. Sussex 95 for 1. Bowls to Hughes, who thrashes that one. Sorry, Clark, who thrashes that to mid-office. Just a single. The ball hits the stumps. In fact, it knocks the middle stump out of the ground. But it's just a single. Hughes on 64, Clark on 16. These two coming together when George Thomas was out with the score on 27. Elsewhere, Kent coasting to victory against Essex. They're 135 for 1, hitting 37 off 6 overs. Uyae on 67, Finch on 53, the former Sussex player. So that means that Sussex need to win.
Yep, and it will move Kent level on points with Hampshire, of course. So Kent will go on to 30 points.
Of course, it could all come down to run rate there, but I think their run rate is vastly superior. As Overton is in, bowls to Hughes, who hammers that one away through the covers. Oh, very good bit of fielding. That was Sam Curran, and that prevented a certain boundary. Picked up a single as Daniel Hughes, but that was a good stop.
Yeah, it's interesting that, because Kent started with their run rate at minus 0.392. So they're obviously trying to get that down and win it quickly, because they know that. I don't know what they'd have to get there in to get it somewhere near Sussex's.
Overton in again. Bowls, pulled onto the onside. That could go all the way for 4 runs. Chris Jordan is round the boundary edge. He pulls it up just inside the boundary edge. 2 more to Clark. He goes to 20. And is that gone to 20? No, he goes to 18. The score was very quick here tonight. He goes to 18. Sussex Sharks 99 for 1. 2 to Tom Clark. Sussex are keeping themselves in this. But still 12.5 runs required and over. Overton down the hill. Bowls to Clark, wide outside the off stump, and it is going to be signalled a wide. Now Overton is saying that isn't a wide, and he stands with his hands on his hips. But the wide brings up the 100 for Surrey, for Sussex. 100 for 1. 11.5 overs gone. He's not very happy about that, is Overton, and he's having a chat to the umpire at the far end, who is umpire Chris Watts.
Yes, indeed. Well, yes, I think with Jamie, you always know when he's not best pleased.
Yes, but he wasn't best pleased.
And he stood with his hands on his hips, looking as if the whole world was against him.
Overton in. Bowls. Clark drives into the offside, fielded by Curran. It's just a single on this occasion. Tom Clark goes to 19. Sussex 101 for 1. 2 balls to go in the 12th.
I've got a feeling this could be a nail biter.
I think you're right.
Yes.
Because Sussex have got nothing to lose now. They've got to go hell for leather for this.
Yeah, I'm not sure they need
not at the moment.
Yet.
No, not at the moment.
No, not just yet.
But at the end, they'll know that they'll need to win. In comes Overton. Over the wicket. Bowls. That's going to be another wide, I think.
Nope.
No, it's not.
That's good bowling. Hughes had stepped outside his leg stump to give himself some room. So Overton, slower ball, just pushed it a bit wider outside that off stump. He'll be friends again with Chris Watts now. Will Jamie Overton.
I just heard an awful beep in my ears. I hope that was not the line going down.
Probably.
We're okay, which is good news. Thank you. Tim back at base. So in comes Overton. Racing in. Bowls to Hughes. Lost it down the ground. That's going to go all the way. Though that could go for a maximum. Has gone for 6 runs.
Oh, that's a strong shot.
Straight down the ground from Daniel Hughes. Hits Overton for 6. And that's just what the doctor ordered as far as Sussex are concerned. Lovely shot by Daniel Hughes. Straight down the ground. And that's carried all the way for 6 runs. Big hit. Authentic shot. Well, Sussex are keeping themselves in the hunt. 107 for 1 as Sussex at the end of the 12th. At the same time, Surrey were 106 for 1.
And we said it, didn't we? Daniel Hughes is a strong guy. He really is. Now he muscled that down the ground for 6. So he's turned to Will Jacks again here. As Sam Curran. This is Jacks' final over. Still hasn't gone to Yusuf Majid, the left arm spinner. As I say, he doesn't have to bowl him. As Will Jacks then is around the wicket, and Tom Clark jumps onto the back foot. First ball of the 13th over, he cuts it away out to Tom Curran, sweeping on the cover boundary road, and they will pick up a single. 108 for 1. Daniel Hughes comes back onto strike on 71. Will Jacks is around the wicket to him. Hughes backs away, crunches it through extra cover, and it's away for 4. It's a good bit of batting again from Daniel Hughes. He's on to 75. Terrific stuff from Hughes there. 112 for 1 now, Sussex.
Wow. Well, he's giving Sussex every chance here, Daniel Hughes. I said, he felt he'd been short of runs and so much depended on him, but he's playing a terrific knock here.
Jacks is in. Oh, he's got him! He's tossed one up, and Hughes has come down the pitch eyes lit up. That's a lovely piece of bowling from Will Jacks. And Hughes' innings comes to an end. That's a big old moment in this game, you feel. It's turned a touch. He just gave it a bit more air above his eye line. Hughes looked to go straight down the ground and it bowled him. But Hughes has played a wonderful knock, but he'll feel he's left some out there now. And Surrey have Hughes, and Sussex are 112 for 2.
Well, he's batted beautifully, hasn't Daniel Hughes, and he's given Sussex the start that they've been wanting throughout the tournament. But now it's down to others. James Cole's coming in, who played beautifully last night down at Cheltenham, made 62 in difficult conditions. Sussex were in all sorts of trouble. Still Coles and Alsop and Simpson to come, but not too much time now to look at the bowling, Churchy. I mean, there's still 7 overs after this, but now it's for Tom Clark maybe to take over the mantle. He's the man who's in 20 not out of 20 balls.
So here's the young man we were talking about before the game started, young Mr. Coles, and he was about to get his first ball, but Will Jacks wasn't happy with something. It's a good bit of bowling that from Will Jacks. He's having a good game, isn't he? 100 and both the wickets so far. As here he comes over the wicket to Coles, and Coles' first ball, the right-handed Coles, just turns this into the leg side. Jordan don't take him on. No, there's the throw from Jordan, just a single. So Coles is off the mark. Tom Clark comes back onto strike on 20.
Yes,
113 for 2.
Yes, that wouldn't have been wise to have taken 2 to Jordan.
Do you know, I'd like one day where I moved like Chris Jordan. As in around the wicket goes Will Jacks, and this is cut away by Clark for a single. He'll move on to 20. Well, he just moves like an athlete, doesn't he?
He's talking to someone in the crowd, and he'll know people down here, Chris Jordan. He was a huge favourite down here in the years he spent down at the county ground. Wonderful cricketer. And he's enjoying every moment of it down there.
Yes. In over the wicket comes Jacks. He might not have enjoyed his first over. Coles turns this one off his hip out towards deep backward square. There's Tom Curran to do the fielding. One more to the total. So, successful over from Will Jacks. Bowls Daniel Hughes. 13 gone. 7 left. The opening game against Somerset, did Yusuf Majid. He's a talent, this one. He really is. A bit of pressure here.
He is. He's coming in front of the Cromwell Road end to bowl to James Coles. A full toss, and Coles lays it down the ground. They've taken one. There could well be 2 runs in it for Sussex, but coming on that long off boundary. Is that Chris Jordan?
That's Jason Roy down there.
Long way away. So just a single brings Clark onto strike. I feel there's an onus on Clark here now, just to the man who's in, give Coles time to settle. Majid bowls, Clark down the wicket, drives onto the onside. It's just a single though to the man at the deep mid-wicket boundary. Sussex will just feel they need to take this deep, because if you get an over where maybe you can take 20 off an over, you never quite know what's going to happen. Run rate over 13 and over now. 3 or 4 paces in, bowls. Coles lost that straight down the ground. Jordan is racing around the boundary edge, but it's straight down the ground, and that's gone all the way for 6. But he barely looked like he hit that with any power at all, James Coles, but it was beautifully timed. Straight down the ground for 6 runs.
Shot of the night from James Coles. That is the shot of the night. It is a beautiful piece of batting. It really is. Magnificent piece of batting that.
Coles goes to 9 off 4. In good form, James Coles. Majid in again. Bowls, Coles hammers that one down the ground. More runs here. They've taken 1. They'll look for 2, and there is 2. The throw comes in. They'll need to be quick. The throw is a good one, but Tom Clark is very quick racing towards the non-striker's end. 2 more to Coles. That's 10 off the over. 125 for 2. 2 balls remaining of this, the 14th over. Crumbs, it's getting exciting. Majid is in again, bowls, full toss. Coles clips it away onto the leg side and settles for a single on this occasion. That's 11 off the over. 126 for 2. Coles to 12.
Calm, everybody, calm. There's still a long way to go here.
There is. Not long to go down at Canterbury.
Baby's crying now as well, just to add to the excitement.
Kent on the verge of beating Essex. In comes Majid. Around the wicket, bowls to Clark, who stretches and cuts that away, but only as far as Overton, who fields on the cover boundary. Gets in the throw. And that is the end of Majid's over. 127 for 2, so an over that cost 12 runs.
That's what they need.
That's what they need.
Yep, 78 required from 36 deliveries. 6 overs left for the Sharks. Jamie Overton's coming into the attack from the C end of the ground to bowl the 15th over. That was a beautiful cricket shot from Coles. He just checked it straight as a die into the side screen for 6. Hardly touched it. Beautiful bit of batting. So, Jamie Overton from the C end is coming charging in. Over the wicket. And, that's not a great bit of batting from Tom Clark. He tried to swing that over the leg side. It beats the edge. One bounce into the gloves of Dan Lawrence, moving away to his left-hand side. Jason Roy's still looking at his knee he grazed. That was about 10 overs ago. Away to our left.
I mean, required run rate now 13.4 and over. As I say, so often in T20, if you can get that big over, the 20 over, the over with a free hit.
Don't need to go mad just yet.
No.
As Overton is in, Hughes is, Clark is swinging this one, slower ball out to Jason Roy at deep mid-wicket. So just a single and time it. Coles back onto strike. It's been interesting tonight that Hughes, Jacks, Roy and Coles there, it's the ones that haven't tried to overhit have had the real success tonight, and it's asked tonight for proper cricket shots this game. As in over the wicket goes Jamie Overton. Oh, hello.
Shot.
Here goes Coles again. Straight back over long off for 6.
So that's great cricket, because Surrey had just brought Chris Jordan up inside the circle from a long off, and Coles hits him straight back over his head for 6 runs. He's a good cricketer, James.
Oh, that is a great shot again from him. He really, really is. And again, he's not overhitting that.
No.
And it is. Tonight, if you think back, we have seen some proper cricket shots tonight. We really have. Yep, T20, we get the ramps and we get all of that good stuff. It's great fun. But tonight, it's been those players that have played proper cricket shots that have had success. Coles waits again as Jamie Overton comes into him. Oh, he's gone again. Oh! 6 more. Sam Cardle, just watch this go straight over his head and into the corporate hospitality marquees away to our right hand side. Again, he's gone length and Coles hasn't tried to overhit that. He's just gone through the line of it, and that has soared away for 6. Coles is on to 24 off 8. 140 for 2 now, Sussex.
Big over this, Churchy. I said if there's a big over, there's 13 off it so far.
Coles waits again. Overton's in like that. He's gone with the Yorker, and Coles has just tucked it into the leg side for a single. That is sensible batting. How old is he?
21.
Yeah. 25 to Coles. 141 for 2.
And he's got a big future, James Coles. I mean, he's scoring hundreds in the Championship. He's a very, very fine young cricketer. And people will be taking notice of him. He's already around the England lines, of course.
Waiting again is Tom Clark on 24. Overton's into him. Right outside that off stump. He's going to give it. Oh dear. Jamie Overton's double teapot again. Oh, now umpire Watts got the Overton. Yeah, he's saying, look where I've landed. He's inside the tram lines. And then it's a long conversation this. No, yes, no. It's still a wide. 142 for 2.
I don't think he's going to change his mind, is he, the umpire?
No. Although I would, if it was Jamie Overton having a word with me, I would say, Jamie, you're quite right. That wasn't a wide. Here he comes. Over the wicket once again. Clark. Oh, that's 6 more. Clark has picked up a low full toss and slotted it straight back over Jamie Overton's head for 6. Overton's continuous conversation with the umpire, and that's the big over they were looking for, Sussex, and it's come really off the bat of James Coles. But then Tom Clark with a 6 off the last ball of the over, and it's suddenly 148, so 21 off that over, 5 to go, and it's down to 57 required off 5.
Well, I think you'd have to say that Sussex might feel their favourites here now.
Look at the worm, Adrian Hobbs. Look at the worm. It's gone upwards and it's level with the Surrey worm.
Yeah, so after 15 overs, Surrey were 150 for 1, Sussex are 148 for 2.
There you go, you see. The worm head to head, neck to neck.
So, Majidi's going to come into boulder James Coles. We could be in for a cracking finish here at Hove. Majidi's coming in from the Cromwell Road end of the ground. He's in, bowls to James Coles, pulls it up to the next side, that's going all the way for another 6.
Oh, brilliant effort from Jamie Overton.
But he's got away for 6 runs, and James Coles is playing the innings that could get Sussex to the quarter-finals. He smashed that away over wideish mid-wicket. An excellent effort by Overton. He couldn't take it. But Coles goes to 31 off just 10 deliveries. Majid again, bowls to Coles. He hits that, well, he's got a thickish outside edge, it's gone into the covers, it's just a single.
Well, even with the 6 there, again, didn't try to overhit it.
155 for 2.
He's playing this so sensibly at the moment.
Coles 32 off 11. The run rate required is down to 10.7 and over. Majid in again, bowls to Clark, he's heaved that away, that's going to go for 6 more, heaves it away over mid-wicket, another maximum. Tom Clark goes to 36, Sussex to 161 for 2.
It's interesting as well because Coles is the one here, but what it's done is it's freed Clark up as well. So Tom Clark now, suddenly he's finding his timing.
Majid from the Cromwell Road end, bowls to Tom Clark, he's headed again, that's 6 more! Oh, 4 more. Going on for 6, it's gone for 4.
Yeah, I feel a bit for Yusuf Majid here. Sam Curran's going to come across and have a word with him, but they've got the the momentum now of Sussex, and he's coming off the back of the Jamie Overton over, and they're just putting their foot on the pump now.
6-1, 6-4. Majid in again, bowls to Clark, hammers that away, is he going to be caught? No, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he's not.
It's a brilliant bit of work.
It's a good bit of fielding, it's just a single.
Yeah, it's a brilliant bit of work from Will Jacks on the half volley, diving forward, did brilliantly there, did Will Jacks. Just a single. But yeah, Will Jacks, that was one of those where he could have been off to the dentist, but he got it about right.
Last ball of the over. Majid is in, bowls to Coles, who sweeps and he's going to pick up another boundary. Is James Coles? Yes, he is, and that's a really expensive over. 170 for 2 at the end of the over, and Sussex need 35 to win off the last 4, and all of a sudden this game has turned on its head.
I feel for Yusuf Majid there. James Coles, this is outstanding batting. It really is. And again, off that last ball, authentic cricket shot. Sweet, again, trying to smash it out the ground. And placement perfect from Coles. It's Coles that's done this. 36 off 12 from Coles. And it's freed Clark up completely at the other end. So Sam Curran, the captain, into the attack. 35 off 24 needed. Oh, bowls in with a slower ball. So Clark goes. Slower ball. Clark looking to slog sweep that over the pavilion. And that changes things. Allsop will make his way to the middle. Good bit of bowling from Sam Curran. So Clark goes for 41. And Sussex 170 for 3 now. As long as Coles is there, think they'll be all right the way he's playing tonight. So here comes Allsop, the left-hander, out to the middle. But Clark's done a good job there. Makes his way off to a rousing reception for 41. Great game of cricket this, it really is. And again, what I would say is we have seen some proper cricket shots tonight. We really have fun enough there. You know, you look at this, it was a slower ball, but he's trying to lump that out the ground and has got out. It's the players that have just played with full face of the bat, down the ground. They've had all the success this evening. So Allsop out there in the middle, the trumpeter, trying to get the crowd going. I don't think he needs to really now. Not that there's anybody in the ground with a trumpet. I think that's pre-recorded because it always is exactly the same notes at every ground you go to. 170 for 3.
And there's no need for Sussex to go mad here now. Runs required 9 and over.
They're where they need to be now, without doing anything spectacular from here. Sam Curran is over the wicket to Allsop, and Allsop's off the mark gristily, whipping this one out towards Jason Roy. Throw comes in, one bounce over the top of the stumps. 171 for 3.
Just to say that Kent have beaten Essex by 7 wickets. They scored 173 for 3 in 17 overs, so it would have improved their run rate. It won't matter a jot, I don't think, if Sussex win here.
We need a table that's up to date with run rates.
Yes, we do.
171 for 3. So Coles 36 off 12 deliveries. Sam Curran is over the wicket to Coles, and Coles drives. Will get a single. Out there towards extra cover, Ryan Patel comes sprinting up to lob the ball to Sam Curran. And 172 for 3. As Sam Curran comes marching back towards us. And will come left arm over the wicket to Tom Allsop. And Allsop gets a slower ball, drills it back at Sam Curran. I think that's half a chance. I'm not sure that was a bump ball, but the key thing was he got something in the way of it. So it's a dot ball. Oh, hi ho from Snow White, who's being sung around the ground. Unsurprisingly, I played Dopey in Snow White, and that, I don't think that will surprise anybody. 172 for 3. Allsop swings this leg side. How much of this has he got? Too much. It's a great catch from Jason Roy. He's come sprinting in as Jason Roy takes the catch. Allsop's gone for 1. 172 for 4. 2 in the over from Sam Curran. Coles is still there. It's the key thing. From a Sussex point of view, here comes the experience. John Simpson. Always thought Simpson might play a role here. Been there, done it. Out he comes.
Well, it's good over from Sam Curran, and this game swings in another direction yet again. Just 3 overs to go. I haven't got an updated table here, Church. It hasn't updated on the BBC website, so I can't tell what that Kent win has done run rate rise. But just when you thought Sussex were, well,
just when you thought it was safe to go in the water,
all of a sudden.
So here's the left-handed Simpson. I think actually Kent would have. How many overs did Kent do that in, Adrian?
17.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Not enough, I don't think.
Not enough. 172 for 4. Final ball of the 17th. Sam Curran is in to John Simpson. Oh, beats him on the inside. Cracking delivery, cracking over from Sam Curran. End of it, 17 gone, 18 balls left, 33 needed by Sussex.
And at the same stage, Church, at the end of the 17th over, Surrey, would you believe it, were 172. But they were for 2 and Sussex are for 4. So all to play for. And it looks like Chris Jordan, formerly of this parish, is going to bowl the next over, and people are biting fingernails here at Hove. Hope you're enjoying our coverage here on Sports Extra 3, BBC Radio Sussex and Surrey, BBC London, wherever you're watching from. It's T20s, it should be nights like this, lights on, packed house, terrific game of cricket, and the crowd are almost at fever pitch as Chris Jordan makes his way in from the Cromwell Road end. 33 needed off of 3 overs. He's in and bowls to James Coles. Is it on the thigh pad? The ball bounces to short third man, fielded eventually by Reece Topley.
Yeah, he trips over Dan Lawrence for good measure.
But it's just a single. I don't think you'll see John Simpson throwing the bat. I think Simpson's experience will say, let's just take this deep.
Get Coles on strike.
That's
the key thing here. Get Coles on strike. Now, although I say that, John Simpson, as I say, has been here so many times. Of course, famously in a championship game when Middlesex won the title against Somerset, he hit a 6 right in the last over, I think it was.
Yes,
to win the game at Taunton. So he knows all about pressure.
And here's another man who knows all about pressure. Chris Jordan running in down the hill. Bowls to 6 runs.
Oh, you naughty boy,
by John Simpson.
You naughty boy, John Simpson. Go to the back of the class, John Simpson, you naughty boy. That's a shot to pull out the bag, that is.
It is. Just at the time Sussex needed it as well, all the way for 6 runs. Now they're going to change the field a little bit after the horses bolted, but Reece Topley is coming down here to find leg. Well, that's swung it back in Sussex's favour. 179 for 4, 26 needed off 16 balls.
Great bit of batting, wasn't it?
Jordan in, driven down the ground by Simpson. They've taken 1, they'll look for 2. They won't get a second though. Good bit of fielding. Ray down in the distance. Roy down there.
It is indeed, in his red boots.
8 off the over.
Oh, look, Freddie Mercury's turned up. And Queen, getting the crowd going.
So Coles is on strike. 15 balls to go, 25 needed. Less than 2 a ball. You feel Sussex can't really afford to lose another wicket here. Jordan, so much experience, comes in, bowls to James Coles, who is hit on the pad. There's a loud appeal.
That must be tight.
It's not given Chris Jordan.
Oh, that must be tight.
It's a leg by Chris Jordan. Can't believe it hasn't been given.
I'm not surprised. He's walked straight across his stumps there as Coles. Oh, that must have been mighty close.
Chris Jordan shaking his head. He walks back to his mark. Wonder if we might get another look at that. 184 for 4, 24 needed off of 14 balls. Jordan is back to his mark.
Cut-off's interesting here as well.
In comes Jordan. Down the hill. Bowls to John Simpson. Simpson's down the leg side. It's a wide. Taken by Lawrence, but it's a wide. It's another run and another ball. 182 for 4, 23 needed of 14.
Oh, this is great stuff. It really is.
I've got Sussex as favourites here, Churchy.
No, absolutely. There is absolutely no way, from this position, Sussex should not be winning this game. But there's a bit riding on it.
There is. Jordan. Down the hill, bowls to Simpson, who drives without timing to mid-off, picks up a single. Importantly, maybe gets Coles on strike. Having said that, John Simpson's already hit a 6 in this over. 183 for 4, 22 needed off 13 balls.
Just to explain what I mean by that, is in any other situation, if it wasn't for a quarter-final spot, they'd walk this from here. But they know what the prize is at the end of this, and that can make you do silly things. If they just do what they've done from here, they'll win the game.
Jordan, final ball of the 18th over. 183 for 4 of Sussex as Chris Jordan is in. Overlooking bowls to James Coles, and they're going to run a bye. Tries at the stumps, misses, and they get through for the bye. So, end of the over. 184 for 4. So 21 needed. I think that's going to go over to in a minute. In 12 deliveries.
Well, hang on. No. 183 for 4. 22 required off 2 overs.
Thank you.
So 22 required off 2. Sam Curran.
Oh, it's gone up now to 184.
Oh, it has now. Oh, there you are.
184.
So 21 required off 2. Scoreboard don't break down now. That'd be a disaster.
At the same stage, Surrey were 181 for 4, so Sussex 3 runs ahead, but the same amount of wickets down. This is a crucial over here.
It is. But that bye meant that Coles is on strike as well. Sam Curran then, from the C end, left arm over the wicket to Coles, who's tried to whip that into the leg side, and it's got a little bit of bat on it. Just a single, brings the left-handed Simpson on to strike. The key thing here from a Sam Curran point of view is if he went for 6, let's say he goes for 6, gives Chris Jordan 15 to play with.
Would Jordan
and I would have thought so. And that's the thing here if you're Sussex. Do you try and take a bit of it out in this over? That's your gamble. If they could take 12 off this over, makes that last over a lot easier. Sam Curran is into John Simpson. That's 6. Oh, John Simpson. Length delivery. And John Simpson, again, hasn't tried to overhit that. And that has soared over Jason Roy at long off. So, big delivery that. Big delivery. Because, again, it's going to take a lot out of that last over. Sam Curran getting ready to come in once again. Left arm over the wicket to Simpson. Simpson, slower ball, whips it leg side. Just a single it should be. Here comes Overton. There goes the throw. Just a single. So 8 off 3. 192 for 4. 13 required off 9 deliveries. I'll tell you what, Jamal Mills, nice Hove. I've only played a lot here, but he's got this spot on. He really has. Under the lights, it's quickened up a bit this pitch. Coles back on strike, 39 off 17 for him. And Sam Curran's into Coles, full toss. Oh, catch! What a catch off his own bowling from Sam Curran.
Oh my word.
Drilled by Coles, he stuck out a left hand and it's stuck. That's a big moment. Coles goes for a brilliant 39. What a catch. That is from Sam Curran off his own bowling. Just stuck out a left hand. And, well, he's thrown everybody there, I think. Coles can't believe it. What an innings from that young man. But what a catch from Sam Curran. So another twist. And out comes Danny Lamb. So it's 13 required off 8 balls.
Wow. I mean, what else is this game going to throw up, Churchy? I mean, that's a magnificent caught and bowled, isn't it? Well, Danny Lamb was the hero for Sussex last night. Sussex needed 14 off the last over and they got them. 8 balls to go. 13 runs needed.
Tie won't work for Sussex.
Tie will not work for Sussex. They need to win.
Saying that.
Kent have won and Glamorgan are going to win as well.
Right. So 13 required off 8 balls. Sam Curran will come in, left arm over the wicket to the right-handed Lamb. Lamb swings across the slower ball, it hits the pad, and just for good measure, Sam Curran runs up and boots the ball against the stumps, and Lamb doesn't go anywhere. 13 required off 7 balls.
I'm just looking here. I mean, Toffee's got an over.
To bowl. I would have thought it will be Chris Jordan. He's done it so many times.
I mean, it's been expensive tonight, Church. 27 off 2.
Yeah, but everybody will forget that if he bowls a brilliant last over. That's the thing about bowling the dirty overs at the end. If you go for runs at the beginning, everyone forgets about those. It might be Topley. 192 for 5. Last ball of the over from Sam Curran. He's into Danny Lamb. It's short. He's got an edge, hasn't he? He has.
He's caught.
Wow. Sam Curran's taken 2 in 3 balls. Lamb's gone, caught behind by Lawrence or Sam Curran. So the final over to come here on BBC Surrey, BBC Sussex, Sports Extra 3, BBC London, the BBC Sport website and app, and the live stream. Anybody who thought Surrey weren't wanting to win this, you just need to look at Sam Curran's reaction there. And well, we're down to the last over, but what a good last 3 balls that was from Sam Curran. The quite brilliant caught and bowled, then getting rid of Danny Lamb. and it will be Chris Jordan to bowl the final over with 13 required. The key thing from a Sussex point of view, even though Lamb's gone, Simpson's on strike.
Wow, what a game of cricket. This is what it's all about, Churchy. Whoever wins, it's been a terrific game for a full house, and everybody, there's not a person leaving the ground, everybody on the edge of their seats. At stake for Sussex, a place in the quarterfinals of the Blast, because Glamorgan are going to win, Canterbury won. It's all down to this, 13 off the final over.
Yeah.
And Chris Jordan, the ex-Sussex man, is going to bowl it. He's coming in to bowl to John Simpson, who's 15 not out, and he's running in down the hill. In comes Jordan, bowls to Simpson, hits it down the ground. They've taken one. They'll think about two. There isn't a second one there. Good throw comes in from Roy way down in the distance. It's just a single. It brings the big Australian Nathan McAndrew, who could hit the ball a long, long way, but 12 needed off of 5 deliveries. It doesn't get any better than this, I assure you. What a game of cricket between these two great rivals.
Yep.
Wow.
Good start from Jordan, just a single. Okay,
And yet-
Simpson off strike as well.
10 minutes ago, Sussex looked almost home and home.
I said, didn't I? It's all about the fact that there is a quarter-final place up for grabs here. If this was any other game, group game, they'd have walked it from here.
So, crumbs. The pulse rate's increased, the fingernails are bitten. Chris Jordan runs in, over the wicket, bowls to McAndrew, he sits on the pads, the ball bounces out onto the leg side. Chris Jordan doesn't shy at the stumps. I think that's going to be a leg bye. It doesn't really matter if it's a leg bye or not. But it's just a single, 194 for 6, 11 required off of 4 deliveries. Sussex need a boundary here.
He's done this so many times, Chris Jordan.
They'll be watching this stream down at Canterbury, you can rest assured of that, where Kent have won their game against Essex.
Well, if they are, good evening, Sam Billings.
Well, they'll be watching and they'll be holding their breath as well, as everybody here at Hove is. 4 balls remaining. Sussex. In comes Chris Jordan, running in, down the hill. He bowls to Simpson, who drives. It's going to go away for 4 runs.
No,
it's
not.
racing towards the man. It's got half of. It got something on that. Did the fielder? It's just a couple of runs.
Tell you what,
Good bit of fielding by Majid.
Majid there.
Saved a boundary.
Well, not off, because that was travelling. And he's got a hand on it. And it's just taken some of the pace off. Otherwise, that was away for 4. That could be a huge moment.
196 for 6. A draw or a tie will not be enough for Sussex. They need to win. 9 needed off 3 balls.
6 now would be handy.
Indeed it would.
Yeah,
Sam
that'll be what Simpson's thinking here.
He's eyeing up that leg side boundary as John Simpson. Chris Jordan has just had a word to Sam Curran. You could cut the tension with a knife here at Hove. Jordan looks around. He's coming in to bowl to John Simpson, who's 18 not out. But Sussex needing 9 to win. In comes Jordan, bowls. Simpson back to Chris Jordan. He doesn't get a run. And all of a sudden, Sussex need 9 off 2 balls. John Simpson crestfallen.
Oh, wow, I said they needed a 6.
Well, they do need a 6 now.
They do now.
John Simpson comes down the wicket to have a word to Nathan
He's
McAndrew.
either going to go 6-4 or 4-6.
Chris Jordan. 2 balls to go. Sussex need 9. It's come down to this. Silence around Hove. Jordan on his way down the hill. Bowl to Simpson wide. It's hammered to mid-off. And he's out. John Simpson is out. He's caught at mid-off by Sam Curran. And with it goes Sussex's chances of reaching the quarterfinals of the Blast. Simpson has gone. Curran takes the catch. And all of a sudden, Sussex know their hopes have disappeared, barring a no ball. And how games can change. In an instant, 10 minutes ago, Sussex looked to be cruising to victory. And I've got to say, Mark Church, you called it. You said it's the tension around the quarter-final. Curran takes the catch. Any thought that Surrey were coming here without a desire to win can be dispelled. And unless something dramatic happens here with a no ball, and it could happen, Sussex's dream of reaching the quarter-finals for successive years has disappeared.
And that's why you have Sam Curran bowling the 19th over and you have Chris Jordan bowling the 20th. They have been here so many times, and you'll forget about Chris Jordan's first over. It's just experience.
Well, Henry Crocombe is the new man in now. Unless Chris Jordan mows a no ball, and I can't believe that Chris Jordan is so experienced he's going to let that happen. He's running in, down the hill. In comes Jordan. He bowls. Crocombe hits the ball down the ground. It's just a single. Chris Jordan raises his arms in the air, and that's it. And Surrey have won a fabulous game of cricket here at Hove. Sussex finish on 197 for 7. It means Surrey have won here by seven runs. A game that ebbed and flowed, 100 from Will Jacks, but you have to say, if you're looking at performances that changed the course of the game, it was that penultimate over from Sam Curran.
Yeah, and I think it just comes down to Sam Curran and Chris Jordan all around the world have been in that position before, and they didn't panic when Sam Curran got hit for that 6. He didn't panic. Took 2 in 3 balls, and then Jordan just shut the game down. And as I say, you forget the first over from Chris Jordan where he went 4 consecutive boundaries, because when it mattered, Jordan, all that experience. Sam Curran has finished with 4 for 18 off his 3 overs, so he's finished with dramatic figures there. But what a game of cricket, and you know, James Cole's, that innings was a joy to watch. Daniel Hughes played brilliantly. Will Jacks, one of the most intelligent innings you'll see in terms of T20 with that 100 and a couple of wickets as well. Jamie Overton's still discussing his wide out there in the middle. Even with all of this going on around there, he's still discussing his wide with the umpires. But yeah, a brilliant game of cricket, and I think what Surrey will say to themselves is that sets themselves up perfectly for the quarter-final. You know, they're under the pump. Sussex look firm favourites to win it, and Surrey, under pressure, have pulled that win out of the bag. But what a game of cricket! And as I say, from a Sussex point of view, you'll look at tonight and you'll go, but I'm sure there have been other games during the group stage when you get to this point where you think, if we'd only got over the line in that game.
Well, I think you're right, and Sussex they've gone out of the competition tonight, but in reality, it's the other games. They lost 5 out of 6. They averted that run last night with a win down at Gloucester. Paul Farbrace said to me a couple of nights ago, we don't want to go out of this competition with a whimper. And they won last night, and they were very close to doing it tonight. Disappointment for Sussex, but you have to say well played Surrey, and well played Sam Curran and Chris Jordan at the death, because with James Cole's batting with John Simpson, it looked like Sussex were almost home and hosed. But you never know in this wonderful, wonderful game of cricket the way things are going to go. So well done to Surrey. Congratulations. Good luck in the quarter-finals, Churchy, and. Well, from everybody here, it's been a wonderful game of cricket. To our listeners on 5 Sports Extra, to our listeners on BBC Radio Sussex and Surrey, and BBC Radio London, I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been an absolute thrill to be here to see such a wonderful game of cricket. We'll be back next week, of course, with County Championship cricket. Surrey go up to Yorkshire to play at Scarborough against Yorkshire. Sussex at home here on Tuesday. It's the County Championship against Essex. Loads of cricket to come on the BBC. Churchy, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Harms.
And thank you so much. And we'll look forward to seeing you all again. And we'll see you on Tuesday. From myself, Adrian Harms, from Mark Church, thanks very much. And look forward to seeing you again on another day. Hello, Tim. That's well, it was great. I'm going to go get some reaction. I'm just chatting because Joffrey's mum and dad have just come to say hello. So I will hang on 2 ticks, and I'll catch you. Well, I'll see you next week, won't I? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well, it depends how much time you've got, really. Okay, all right. Okay. Bless you. Okay. All right. Speak to you later.